This is Adelaide's FIVEaa.
A shower or two and 16 today with the 6 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? FIVEaa Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. FIVEaAextra.com.
Organisers of the Royal Adelaide Show are predicting tens of millions of dollars in losses after the event was cancelled for the second year running. The Delta variant and increased COVID restrictions are to blame. General Manager Michelle Hocking says crowd caps meant it wasn't financially viable.
If you're a commercial exhibitor, you're there, you've paid to be at the show on the site. You might have a 3x6 stand and you've paid $2,500, $3,500, whatever it is to be there. You need more customers than 5,000 people coming through the gate to get a return on your investment at the show.
More of Australia is waking up in lockdown today. Canberra has shut up shop as the ACT records 4 COVID cases. Meantime, the number of Sydney areas subject to tougher restrictions has grown to 12. Nine's Clinton Maynard reports.
Thousands of workers who were legally allowed to go to work yesterday aren't allowed this morning. Overnight, the council areas of Bayside, Burwood and Strathfield have been placed into tighter lockdown despite just a handful of new cases. The decision's been made because of their proximity to the Canterbury-Bankstown LGA. Workers must be on the authorised list, while construction workers who are vaccinated can work. Police Commissioner Mick Fuller will also present his plans for revised health orders to Crisis Cabinet today and could include a permit system for people who need to leave Sydney.
America's top infectious disease expert says it's likely everyone will need a COVID booster shot eventually. The World Health Organization wants wealthier countries to forego the extra doses until poorer nations are able to catch up with their programs. Dr. Anthony Fauci says they're constantly reviewing the situation.
This is a dynamic process and the data will be evaluated. The one thing we are doing is we are preparing for the eventuality of doing that. So if the data shows us that in fact we do need to do that, we'll be very ready to do it and do it expeditiously.
A COVID vaccine being developed in South Australia is a step closer. The protein-based COVAX-19 shot is preparing to enter the final stages of human clinical trials. Flinders University Professor Nikolai Petrovsky says it's been extensively tested on animals.
Sort of at the final hurdle now of testing how effective it is in a large number of human subjects in order to get approval to start rolling it out.
A major telco is struggling to stay on top of a recent spike in scam calls and text messages. People are receiving messages saying they have a missed call, which includes a suspicious link. Telstra's Andrew Penn says they're trying to block the scams, but new ones keep popping up.
We effectively are constantly monitoring the network to try and identify traffic which is malicious. We then identify its source, we confirm it's malicious, and then we block the source to protect our customers. But as quickly as we do that, there is more activity.
Australia's newest multimillionaire is yet to come forward and claim their winnings. A single entry won last night's entire $80 million Powerball jackpot. The ticket comes from Victoria. Now to FIVEaa Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr. Dishwasher.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
Well, that has ruined my morning, Mel, unfortunately.
Yes, it came from Victoria. It is definitely not you.
No, definitely not. Anyway, let's get to some sport. A changing of the guard at Adelaide, with Daniel Talia not being offered a new contract for next year. It comes just days after Tom Lynch was also told he wouldn't be offered a new deal for 2022. Captain Rory Sloane telling Rowie it's never easy saying goodbye.
And those two in particular aren't just great club and they're great friends, and it's always extremely hard saying goodbye to great people and great friends, but I've shared so many incredible memories with those two.
Port Adelaide has dropped Sam Powell-Pepper for tomorrow's twilight clash against Carlton. Meantime, GWS has made 6 changes for its clash against Richmond tonight, with Jesse Hogan, Shane Mumford and Josh Kelly among the big-name inclusions. But forward Toby Green will not be playing after failing to have his one-match ban for striking overturned at the AFL Appeals Board. Giant Lockie Whitfield says a final spot is also on the line.
It is do or die. Obviously, us and the Tigers sit around the same spot, just trying to scrape into that 8. So it's going to be hard to make the finals if we don't get up this weekend. And we're really looking forward to another Friday night game, which we don't get a lot of, and we've got 2 in 2 weeks. So we're pretty stoked with that.
Richmond's lineup is unchanged. One game in the NRL overnight with the Melbourne Storm cementing top spot with a 26-16 point win over the Canberra Raiders. And James Duckworth will take on Daniil Medvedev later this morning at the Toronto Masters. Earlier this morning, there were wins for Stefanos Tsitsipas and John Isner. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
A shower or two and 16 for your Friday. Mostly sunny tomorrow, 18. Sunday, much the same, 18 as well. Right now, it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6:05, good morning to you. Welcome to Friday on 5AA Breakfast. Coming up on the program this morning, Michelle Hocking on the Royal Show, cancelled at the last minute. I'll talk to her about why. After 7 o'clock today, Phil Curry in the nation's capital wrap another massive week in federal politics. A lot of it COVID-related. We'll get into that with Phil after 7:30 today. Orazio Fantasia from the Port Adelaide Football Club, who are celebrating one hell of a milestone. They've entered the AFLW competition. The competition, is described by Gil McLaughlin now, is complete, and it feels that way. It's a big moment for them, and it's a wonderful moment for women's football in South Australia as well. So we'll put that on the agenda with Orazio after 8 o'clock. We might even mention that they won the showdown in that conversation. And Ryan Fitzgerald will be on the show after 8:30. We'll get through what for tippers is almost... This is the round that matters now. The last round, it's too hard to make up any point of difference. If you're going to make a move, this is the tipping round to do so. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. Now, anyone who's up already will know... And I'll tell you what, Will, this might have been a good day to chuck a sickie, mate, given your well-documented hatred of the term that I won't even say.
No, just of inaccuracy. That's okay.
Outside now, think the Hounds of the Baskervilles, think Michael Jackson's Thriller, think American Werewolf in London. It looks like maybe Damien the Omen, like the city looks like this... horror movie. The fog, it's sort of hanging so low. It looks like Bram Stoker's Dracula's going to pop out from behind the Nova building here in Hindmarsh Square.
I know we associate it more so with London and typical places that are drab and quite concretey and human construction and whatnot, but it feels like the parklands play a big role.
Yeah,
because the moment you get up to the parklands, it seems to congregate. Maybe it's the extra cool, the moisture that's
particularly if you get up to North Adelaide, opposite the Oval there near St Mark's, all those residential colleges. They've got that almost gothic sort of feel about them.
But you're right, it is thick coming in this morning.
Oh, it's amazing, and needless to say, be careful on the roads. But be careful on the roads because it's good rear end of weather out there. And as Will said, congratulations to Port. That's good. And you want girls to be able to grow up and play for their team in the same way boys always have.
Well, I just think if you want the competition, if you love football, you want your sport to be and remain the preeminent sport in Australia.
Yep.
There's no path for it to do that in the absence of a large women's component. And there already is. It's already been a huge success. They're able to throw more money at it than anyone else. But we've seen things like the manner in which the Matildas captured the imagination of the nation during the Olympic Games. If you don't have that, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. It's been a fantastic development. And you know what? It's often not the top level that tells the story. The grassroots, you go to any amateur league club around South Australia and see what it looks like on a Saturday night when the girls play. It's spectacular. The amount of grounds they've had to put in extra lights because they have to train later or have the games played later on the Saturday. They've had to train on an extra day of the week. You can literally drive around the suburbs of Adelaide and see the growth of Australian rules football because of what's happened with the AFLW.
I've seen it near us at the Goodings Saints. The way that oval's changed, the club infrastructure has changed in the last decade is extraordinary. So much so that a couple of the Naki neighbours have had a bit of a...
Well, that's been the fight in a lot of places.
It's like, oh, God, they're playing football all the time. Yeah. I was like, well, yeah, they are. I don't know. I think good. The sound of kids playing sport is one of the nicest sounds in the world, I would have thought.
It's not unpleasant.
No.
And I wonder what... There's clearly a lot of growth to come. Because in a lot of places you're talking about some junior sides and a senior side. But presumably at the rate... I mean, it won't continue growing at this rate because I assume that's unsustainable. Maybe I'm wrong. But I wonder, will we get to having the A's, the B's, the C's, the D's, the vets, or whatever it might well be?
Well, some clubs are already getting there.
Some clubs are getting there, yeah, but
I'm trying to remember how many clubs have got it good, because I did a story about them for the Australian earlier in the year. I think they've got like 4 or 5.
Mm.
It's getting huge.
Yeah,
and it's a good thing.
Well, and we've spoken about it before. And in fact, it was funny. I saw a story. Matt Damon was talking about the Hollywood actor. Matt Damon was talking about the other day. The best sporting experience he ever had in his life was going to a football match in Argentina, because I think his wife might be Argentinian.
Yeah, that's right.
And he went to Boca Juniors or one of these clubs.
Didn't get stabbed either.
Well, and he said, "I really want to go to a game," to his father-in-law, who looked at him all seriously and just said, "No women, no children." And he went, "No, I'm taking the family." And he said, "Nah." And
apparently those games are insane.
He said in telling the story, he got there and he said, well, by the time they worked through the third big barrier that was being manned by the army, he realised that's probably not a place for women and children. And I had this experience going to watch football in England.
Mm.
The nice thing about Australia is it's a family experience. It's genders are relevant. You look around the crowd, it's an even mix of people, and that's a success of the sport.
Yeah. Have you ever read that book called Among the Thugs by Bill Burford?
No.
This guy, he became he didn't become a soccer hooligan. He acted as if he was a soccer hooligan,
right,
and hung out with soccer hooligans in England for about 2 years. He became kind of obsessed with it and talked about, like, he's a really educated bloke. He started this terrific sort of creative writing and journalism anthology called Granta many years ago. But his first book was called Among the Thugs, and he'd go to games, he'd get drunk, he'd take his shirt off and he'd chant, and he became integrated. Yep. He almost went undercover and just wrote a book about what motivates these blokes, and just said it was like this sort of, like becoming a member of some sort of vaguely homoerotic tribe where all these men who had, anger issues and dysfunctional backgrounds, almost like Fight Club in a way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. Really, really, really good book. He wrote Heat as well, which became the movie, about the chef.
Is that right?
Yeah, he's a great writer.
Oh, that's fantastic.
He's a really cool.
Check that out.
Really cool bloke. Hey, it's Meat Tray Friday.
It certainly is Meat Tray Friday. We thought we'll inspire the question with flashback. Michael Smith's flashback earlier in the week. He talked about the Dire Straits concert at Footy Park in 1986. And the meat tray today, thanks to Dane and Harry at Blackwood Country Meats, will be yours if you can tell us a story of the first concert you ever went to. 8223 0000 or text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. They offer premium quality meats as well as a fine selection of handcrafted small goods and sausages. 248 Main Road at Blackwood. They're a fantastic butcher. Now, first concert you went to, does it come with a story? Or maybe it's just a nice memory. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be rolling in the aisles funny. We just want to hear from you. 8223 0000.
Mine was Midnight Oil. I'm trying to remember the year. It was the Red Sails and the Sunsets tour. So it would have been, Red Sails came out, I think, 83 at Memorial Drive, and it was excellent. Peter Garrett came out holding the giant pink flare. Sensational concert.
8223 0000 or text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. What have we got there?
Premier, Stephen Marshall, ABBA, Footy Park. Probably 1979. What about that?
The premiere at ABBA?
Yeah. My.
Oh.
My, do.
Oh, if he wants to text in any pictures,
went with the whole
we'd
family.
Love to see them. Wouldn't
Photos,
that be
please, Premier.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
That's terrific. Guy in Glenelg, good morning.
Yeah, good on, lads. How you going? Don't give me the meat tray. Thanks for the meat tray a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, of course, Guy.
Good on you, Guy.
Hope you enjoyed it, mate.
In excess, 1985, January the 1st.
Oh, yeah.
What's the number? You close your eyes, you picture that day. What's the number one memory you've got?
I'd never drunk so much the previous night and never have again.
My wife was at that concert, Guy.
Sorry?
You might have been standing next to my wife that day. She was there.
Quite possibly. The tickets were $6 from SAFM. My mate bought the tickets. I've never paid him for him and never will. This is a great story. FAB and the Models played there.
FAB. There's a blast from the past.
Fantastic night.
Good stuff, Guy. That's terrific.
That would have
Thank
been
you for that.
The Listen Like Thieves tour, probably.
I like it too. In our Meat Tray Friday entrants, declare their recent winners, and they, So there's a chivalry to the meat tray, isn't there?
There is.
There's a quiet
honour among meat tray winners.
There is.
There's a certain, there's a classiness about
quiet
a meat tray.
dignity.
A quiet dignity about a meat tray Friday winner.
Dave in South Brighton, good morning.
Morning, guys. Speaking of quiet dignity, my first concert was someone you virtually almost mentioned this morning, was the matinee performance of the Jackson 5 at the Apollo Stadium.
The Apollo Stadium.
Oh, wow.
When Michael still had dark skin and they were all up on their little satin pants dancing around. I was not allowed to go to the nighttime performance. I had to go to the matinee performance. But since then, I've seen many bands over the years living up in the glam rock era. So I saw Status Quo, Gary Glitter, Slade, all the great Aussie bands of the year, Skyhook, Sherbets, In Excess. So I've had a pretty good music experience.
You certainly have,
good,
Dave. That's tremendous. Thank you, mate. It's 16 after 6. Keep those Meat Tray Friday entries coming in, 8223 0000, or text us on the
what was yours? Have you got one?
Telstra Store Mount Barker text line. It's hard for me to say because I was never into music, really. I didn't care, particularly when I was a teenager. But I had a group of friends that would go around to gigs when we were at uni, and I went to a lot. I don't know who the hell any of them were, and I didn't even know where I was most of the time. Until about halfway through, there was an Eskimo Joe in there.
Oh yeah,
I think at one point in time. But then
good band scene on your side of town.
Yeah,
some good band pubs. The Finnan.
Well, no, but see, all my stuff was down south. So we were because I was spending all my time at Flinders Uni.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So
was the tavern still going?
Yeah, absolutely.
The tavern was excellent.
That was the place the memories weren't quite made.
Yeah.
17 after 6 news headlines coming up.
Hi, I'm a nurse in a public hospital. I see ambulances ramped and my emergency department overcrowded. I see patients suffering as they wait for a bed. And what's Premier Stephen Marshall's solution? Well, nurses' jobs have been made redundant. And now the Liberals want to spend $660 million of our money on a basketball stadium, rather than fixing our broken health system. Stephen Marshall's priorities are wrong.
Authorised by R. Martin, Australian Labor Party, Adelaide.
History. We all have it. At Steinborner Automotive, we're proud of our Holden heritage. That's why at Steinborner Automotive, we're here for you. So when it's time to trade in your Holden for a new or quality used car, we have a $1,000 trade-in bonus. That's right, $1,000 trade-in bonus when you purchase any new or demo Hyundai, Mitsubishi, Ford or quality used car. And we have over 350 used cars available. Write the next chapter of your driving history with Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
No one wants to spend their weekend in emergency. So if you hurt yourself on a Saturday or Sunday, Dr. Greg Keane says come and see SportsMed instead.
The doctors at our weekend injury clinic can treat any sporting or orthopaedic injuries right away. You won't have to wait all afternoon.
And a standard consult costs less than a private hospital emergency department, right?
Much less.
World-class care without the wait. SportsMed.
Start living life again after your injury.
sportsmed.com.au.
Now, needless to say, we are massive fans of Puritap. They're a fantastic local company, local and part of the FIVEaa family. They make our water more beautiful. They make it clean, it's fresh, it's healthy, and they make the prices pretty beautiful as well. Now, this is remarkable. A Puritap, you can get a Puritap from $49 up front. $49 up front. That's exceptional value. A Puritap from just $49. Now, what you get included in that, the designer tap, the installation's included, filters for 2 years and a great payment plan. They're designed and manufactured right here in Adelaide, so you know it's quality stuff as well. Puritap service and install their famous quality water purifiers, and rest assured their professional team of installers are following strict hygiene protocols. Never run out of pure, clean drinking water. It's a world-class product that we are proud to be associated with. Call Puritap on 133 502 or go to puritap.com.au. Some T's and C's apply.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
20 minutes after 6, time for news headlines on this Friday morning. Good news for one lucky Australian. The $80 million Powerball jackpot went off last night, and there was only one Division 1 winner. One person has the entire 80 million, and it's not
a South
the
Australian.
one ticket that's us. It's a Victorian. Biggest ever win by a Victorian Lotto winner. Third biggest ever win in Australian Lotto history. 80 million bucks. We spoke to the man who makes the call yesterday. The man who makes the call to whoever wins the lottery. Well, he didn't get to make the call. They haven't been able to catch up with the winner yet.
You're joking.
So the ticket may be out there somewhere in Victoria.
Oh, seriously?
Well, or someone hasn't checked it. Someone wasn't aware the draw was on. It's hard to know exactly, but it's out there. Hasn't been claimed.
So someone's going to get all of it.
Someone's got the whole thing. We got two numbers right, 17 and 23. That gets us...
Well, that's not enough, is it?
Butkus.
Yeah. How many numbers do you need to get a division, whatever it's called?
I don't know. More than two.
Yeah, two's not really enough.
Either that, or Andy was very keen to make sure if it was a small win, he just got to keep it. So we'll never know.
Well, at least we've avoided a massive fight, haven't we?
That's exactly right.
And the court case.
Now, the lowest prize is 2 in the Powerball. 2 numbers in the Powerball. So
okay, what do you get, like $4 or something?
Yeah, probably something like that. Organisers of the Royal Adelaide Show are counting the costs after being forced to cancel. Crowd restrictions of 10,000 people per day made it unfeasible to run the event. Premier Stephen Marshall making the announcement yesterday.
Despite us working very, very closely with the Show Society, the conditions that have been put in place really mean that the Royal Adelaide Show will not be going ahead this year. I know there'll be so many people that are disappointed that the Royal Adelaide Show will not be going ahead. I know that the Show Society has looked at every single opportunity to work with SA Health to create a way that this could go ahead, but unfortunately this year it won't be.
So the numbers were going to be capped at 10,000 a day, which is almost the number of staff and volunteers the show has per day, meaning that, maybe you and a friend could have been the only people attending. It had the smell of death about it for ages, the show.
I'm just surprised that they took this long to make the call. I just wonder, were they waiting to see, were they hoping that there was going to be a relaxation of restrictions? Nobody gave them the heads up?
Well, I think that they were just being optimistic and clearly, there's so much money involved in this as well, and they've lost everything last year. I think that they just wanted it to go ahead, and I reckon good on them. I was really upset yesterday. Telling a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old that, because they're all over this. This is their, the lived experience, to use that term. Their lived experience of COVID is, when are we going to the show?
Yeah.
That's their big thing. And we said, said, hey, kids, so, our sell job, which they saw through pretty quickly, was, this year there's going to be this amazing website you can get on. You can pick any show bag you want. And then Sam goes, so the show's not going ahead. He's like, yes, that's it. That is it in a nutshell. So he's all over it.
He saw through your spin in about 4 seconds flat.
I know.
That's dangerous.
He's got a fine future ahead of him, perhaps also following his father, toiling in the vineyard of truth for News Corporation.
America's top infectious diseases expert says it's likely everyone will need a COVID-19 booster shot eventually. The World Health Organization wants wealthier countries to forgo the extra doses until poorer nations can catch up with their programs. Dr. Anthony Fauci says they're constantly reviewing the situation.
This is a dynamic process, and the data will be evaluated. The one thing we are doing is we are preparing for the eventuality of doing that. So if the data shows us that, in fact, we do need to do that, we'll be very ready to do it and do it expeditiously.
We're being urged to dig deep this Red Nose Day. There has been a 20% increase in sudden infant death in Australia in the past year. Red Nose Australia Co-Chief Executive Karen Ludsky says they're aiming to raise $700,000.
We really want to continue to be able to look at research as to, what's happening to cause these babies to be born still, and what can we do to impact change in the same way we have in the SID space.
9.9 degrees outside at the moment. The top today is going to be somewhere in the order of 16 degrees. The weekend looks really nice. 18 the top on Saturday and Sunday, with not much chance of any rain getting in the way.
Get more at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen with great deals on demos right across the range, all ready to drive away. And if you're impressed with our selection of cars, you'll love our service department with next day servicing, complimentary loan cars and breakfast or lunch on us. Why? Because when you're Adelaide's newest Volkswagen dealer, you want to give more. Visit mawsonlakesvw.com.au to see the range online. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
Wallace Cinemas is a proud, local, family-owned South Australian business that prides itself on supporting its community.
And look, Wallace are about much more than just movies. They're about bringing people together. Each Sunday morning, the main live drive-in transforms into South Australia's largest outdoor market.
There's beautiful fresh produce, baked goods, plants and flowers and bric-a-brac galore. Whether you want to buy, sell or explore, these markets are packed with bargains and treasures for everyone.
And look, once you're all shopped out, grab some brekkie and a coffee at Mickey's Diner.
But buy, sell and soak up the atmosphere at the Jeps Cross Market.
It's always a lot of fun. Sellers are welcome from 5am and buyers from 7am every Sunday. See wallace.com.au for details.
5AA's Business Lounge with Leith Forrest.
So in the Business Lounge today, I'm joined by an inspirational man who is a big fan of Arbor Vitae. Welcome, Peter Wilson.
G'day, Leith.
Hey, I know you've been using Arbor Vitae since 2018. Tell us about it.
It has completely changed my life. It's like liquid gold to me. My joint pain has completely disappeared. My mobility is so much better, and the reduction in inflammation is amazing.
And your mobility has returned. It's given you your life back, and I believe you've ticked off some big things on your bucket list.
Well and truly, the challenge of walking to the top of Mount Kosciuszko, the highest mountain top of Australia. It was a challenge that prior to Arbor Vitae was literally a dream. There was no way that in my 50s I would have entertained the thought had it not been for Arbor Vitae.
Peter, that is amazing. I'm so glad that Arbor Vitae has given you back your life. Arbor Vitae is available in chemists and health food stores all over Adelaide. For a full list of stockists or to buy online direct, go to arborvitae.com.au, or you can give the Arbor Vitae team a call on 1300 879 863. Remember, always follow the directions for use. This medicine may not be right for you. Read the label before purchase. If symptoms persist, talk to your health professional. For more information, visit arborvitae.com.au. That's arborvitae.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
27 after 6, Tom Red in the studio with us. Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher. Morning to you, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, Dave. Boys, just a bit further to our conversation yesterday about the World Cup. Should Australia be successful with a bid? It's either 2030 or 2034 we were talking about. It looks like, just listening to the FFA chairman yesterday, that it's likely to be 2034 more likely. And if we're to do it, we'd have to partner up with a country from the Asia-Oceania region, and Indonesia might be the most
really? Is that
likely.
it? I was just funny. I was just saying to Will off air, Indonesia would be the perfect country to do it with.
So
280 million people, absolutely soccer mad.
Yeah.
But no real infrastructure and a perfect potential growth market for FIFA.
Exactly right. So, I mean, what's that, 10 times the population here in Australia?
Good for us strategically too, because we're a much more advanced and richer country and more organised country than Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
So if we say to them, hey, listen, this is good for us, joint Canberra-Jakarta bid, it's actually good in a security sense for the region.
Absolutely. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And we haven't always had the greatest relationship there, have we? So it would sort of bring us together, you would think, a bit closer. But I want to move on. Fascinating day yesterday at West Lakes. Daniel Talia not offered a contract. Now, you two boys, I think, are a pretty good test of the market out there, and the listeners will be listening and might want to text in as well. But it's this fascinating discussion. Are they being too ruthless, or do you think this is the path that the Crows are taking is the right one? So, Tom Lynch, you're happy he's gone?
Well, happy's not the right word, because I love that guy and I think he was a great player. But I think it was the right decision, and I think it was the right decision with Talia too.
Okay, all right, then let me go further. Dave McKay. That decision has to be made there.
Oh, if you're putting a line through Tom Lynch and Daniel Talia, I can't see how you don't put a line through Dave McKay.
Tex Walker, given everything that's gone on. Now, I know he's got a contract.
That complicates it because you don't gain anything salary cap-wise.
Yes.
So that complicates it.
Yep.
But the other ones, you're freeing up space,
All right, I'll go one bigger. What about Rory Sloane?
Well, this is it. He was on with Rowie last night. He's got 2 years to run. I think He needs a big pre-season. He said himself yesterday his form has been inconsistent.
Well, the answer for Rory Sloane, I think, is simple. The bloke shouldn't be playing as a first pick on baller every single week. We've got to get past it. He's got to find another place. We've seen Jack Zeeble do it for North Melbourne.
Yeah,
he's gone forward previously, but now he's gone back this year and do it. These guys are talented enough to do it. Harry Schomburg's gone past him as a midfielder, and I suspect there'll be others too that will go past given the opportunity. If his career is going to extend to the full length of his contract, it's not going to be in the midfield.
And the other thing is...
The text one's different because the text one's actually about a whole bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's tough.
And it's interesting because you don't want to throw them all out and then have them exposed like the Power did back in early 2010s where they're just lambs to the slaughter. They're getting belted and it's doing no one any good.
But, this is where, and we love our spots with Tom Duday. It feels to me like there's a new second tier of maturing leaders like Duday coming up through the club.
Duday's the next captain. Duday should be the captain right now. I think where this club's at in terms of moving on to that next generation, they're doing it, as you're saying, Rennie, really aggressively right now in a list management sense. Let's get there. Let's empower this next group of young guys to be the ones that take the club forward. And we're biased. We get to sit and chat with him every single week, but I think he's the most impressive. He's one of the most impressive young leaders and speakers in the AFL, let alone the Adelaide Football Club.
Hard to argue.
And this is where I also think the text thing, part of it is I know that there's a sort of clique of, media sort of enablers and protectors that the guy has got, but part of it's just about the club creating a new identity for itself. And ultimately, that's got to be Matthew Nick's call. It can't be people who just happen to be mates with him and like him and think, oh, well, it'd be sad for him to go like this. A lot of sad stuff happens in life, but, sometimes people are the masters of their own destiny. And there's a bigger thing to think about here, and it's the club first. So all these things, I actually think it's very promising that the club is actually having these hard conversations with people.
Yep.
There's a lot in the melting pots.
There
It's
is.
Fascinating.
The only thing I would say, they could have done a little bit better than the key defender has not been offered a contract yesterday is the headline that went out. The bloke's a two-time All-Australian. They don't fall off trees.
Yeah, he's a club.
Let's celebrate.
It is pretty good,
Life member.
It's ruthless, but it's a ruthless business,
gold
isn't it?
club champion. Let's come on.
Yeah.
It is a ruthless business. And I'm not saying he shouldn't have been not offered a contract, but let's just celebrate the bloke who's been a pretty terrific contributor to the club for a long time.
Yes, for sure.
All right, that's good stuff, Tom Wren. Really interesting. Save it to $800 on selected Asco washer dry packages. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, the home of Mr. Dishwasher.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two in 16 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Trust Physio Extra. Norwood, Puri Street, Marion, Hallicove, Seaford and Victor Harbour. PhysioExtra.com.
There may be some financial support for Royal Show organisers after COVID forced them to pull the pin on the 2021 event. The state government says they'll consider it if the Show Society make a funding submission. Preparations were well underway at Wayville when it was announced yesterday that the event had been cancelled for the second year in a row. Ride operator Amanda Watkins says it's heartbreaking.
Oh, we're absolutely devastated. It's the third major show in the circuit to cancel, so it's one of our major events of the year.
The COVID crisis continues on the eastern seaboard. The Queensland government is trying to fend off COVID on a number of fronts, with concerns about outbreaks in New South Wales. The number of Sydney areas subject to tougher restrictions has grown to 12, and a woman has given birth at a hospital in Sydney's west. She now has COVID. The ACT is in lockdown after recording 4 cases. US health officials are now recommending COVID vaccine booster shots for the immunocompromised. Nine's Alison Petrowski is stateside.
The director of the Centres for Disease Control says a third shot of either the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine should be given for people with underlying health issues, including transplant recipients and cancer patients.
An additional dose could help increase protection for these individuals, which is especially important as the Delta variant spreads.
Some Americans have sought out a third shot already, the CDC estimating that 1.1 million additional shots have been administered. Delta continues its surge in the US, cases concentrated in communities with lower vaccination rates. Florida and Texas alone accounting for nearly 40% of new hospitalisations across the country.
Police in Plymouth in the southwest of England have confirmed a number of fatalities in a serious firearms incident, but authorities say it is not terror-related. UK correspondent Adam Gilchrist says it's a developing situation.
2 people may have been shot dead and
the gunman himself. There are others saying, as you've just reported, multiple injuries, if not multiple deaths. And the number of ambulances and police cars and helicopters overhead is extraordinary.
It's Red Nose Day. There's been a 20% increase in sudden infant death in Australia in the past year. Red Nose Australia's Karen Ludsky says they're aiming to raise $700,000.
Fund research into the reasons why these babies are still dying suddenly and unexpectedly, and also delivering prevention and education messages to new parents to help keep their babies safe.
A major development in the Britney Spears conservatorship case. Her father, Jamie Spears, has agreed it's time to step down as conservator of her estate and says he wants to work with the court on an orderly transition. The singer had been pushing for his removal, saying he was making her life a living hell. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Asco washer-dryer packages. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port Adelaide has made the tough call to drop Sam Powell-Pepper for tomorrow's twilight clash against Carlton at Adelaide Oval. Trent McKenzie is injured, opening the door for Tom Cleary to make a return. Meantime, Port Adelaide is joining the AFLW competition. The competition will expand to 18 teams from the 2022-23 season, with Essendon, Hawthorn and Sydney also gaining licences. Power CEO Matthew Richardson telling Rowie it's an exciting day.
We're really excited now that it feels like our club is now complete. They have a women's team now who sit proudly alongside our men's program on the national stage, and I guess bring that 150 years of heritage and tradition into AFLW is really exciting and significant day for our club.
The Crows have named a squad for their match against Melbourne on Sunday. Lockie Golland has a chance to come in for his debut, while Kieran Strawn is set to play only his second AFL game, with Riley O'Brien out because of an knee injury. Let's go to other sport. American Russell Henley leads the way at the PGA's Wyndham Championship in North Carolina after cutting an opening round of 8 under, a 62. Impressive stuff. Adam Scott's the best of the Aussies. He's in the clubhouse at 4 under. A great result for Ange Postecoglou's Celtic this morning. They had a comprehensive 3-0 win against Czech side Jablonec in their Europa League qualifier. Meantime, the English Premier League season gets underway in less than 24 hours. The first match sees Brentford up against Arsenal. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
16 with a shower or two today, mostly sunny tomorrow 18, the same on Sunday. Right now it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Welcome to the Hotel California. Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
22 minutes to 7. Police and weather coming up very shortly. We've got a meat tray thanks to Dane and Harry at Blackwood Country Meats to give away this morning. They're at 248 Main Road, Blackwood. Michael Smith, great flashback this week excellent. With him reviewing the Dire Straits concert at Footy Park in 1986. We got a text immediately after him, someone saying, I remember it fondly. It was their first concert, so we thought, well, that's a logical Meat Tray Friday question. Your first concert memory. Paul in Elizabeth Park, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Dave, Will. First concert was at work, and it was for a function, so I didn't even pay for it. It was the AMP 140th, Marsha Hines and Human Nature.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Marsha Hines, she's sensational.
Yeah, she was. And the last one, just bring that one about because no one gets to see concerts rarely because of this COVID, was Music by the Sea. Got to see Ivor Davies and Pete Murray, and I'd say Ivor Davies is better than he was back in the day.
Oh, wow. A good one, Paul. Thank you for that.
Nice.
Yeah, it does feel... I mean, there have been live events going on, haven't they? But it's
not many.
It's not many. It's not the same.
Mainly local stuff.
Yeah. Ian in Woodville West, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate.
Good. Bee Gees pre-disco, 1974 at Apollo Stadium.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So was that like, did they do
New York
Spicks
Mining
and Specs, things like that?
Spicks and Specs, Words, basically hooked from an album that my grandmother had. She was a little progressive, loved Creedence and a few other bands, and still have the orange-covered album sitting home at Mum and Dad. So the vinyl's still there. So, yeah,
what a show.
Amazing. Yeah, and Harmony's just magnificent as always, as you'd expect. Yeah, great show. Great show.
Great call, Ian. Thanks, mate.
And so Apollo Stadium from 1969 to 1991, I reckon it might account for about 80% of our listeners' first concert memories.
I never went there. Never saw a show there.
Is that right?
When did it close? 91.
91 it closed.
I have no memory of seeing a show there.
Late 80s.
It was mainly basketball in the late 80s, wasn't
That's right, because it wasn't, the capacity was only 3,500, 4,000. So by the time you got to the mid-late 80s, bands went elsewhere in Adelaide for bigger venues. But pre that, I reckon we're going to hear about the old Apollo a fair bit. David and Mile End, good morning.
Good morning, boys. Let me paint you a picture. I was 20 years old, New Year's Day, January the 1st, 1987, at Theberton Theatre, Theberton Oval, the Australian-made concert. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
It was a hot day. They had metal as anything. They had the Triffids there. They had the vinyls with Christine Amphlett, and that's why I was there. I just wanted to gawk at Christine Amphlett all day.
How good were they live, the vinyls?
Oh, man. Oh, Jimmy Barnes was there, in excess. It was just wicked.
I reckon that was one of the biggest concerts ever held, that Australian-made concert.
Mate, it was just awesome. And the girls that would go there as a 20-year-old, it was heaven.
Good on you, David.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Hey, I know she's probably not eligible because she's an immediate relative to win Meat Tray Friday, but my mother-in-law, Roz, has texted me saying, I win. Listen to this. The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Roy Orbison, Jerry and the Pacemakers, Manfred Mann, Dusty Springfield, Gene Pitney, the Seekers, Billy Thorpe, the Kinks, Del Shannon, the Dave Clark Five and the Searchers.
What was the first concert?
Well, I don't think they're all playing together, but that's her suite of bands that she saw. I'm not sure what the first one was, Roz.
Right.
She was at the Beatles show, though. WAG School, from memory. On your Rozzy.
Oh, wouldn't you?
Love you.
All right, let's go to Daryl. Morning, Daryl.
Good morning, how are you?
Good thanks, Daryl.
Good. 1976, I think it was. Wide-eyed 12-year-old drag along like some older mates to the Alice Cooper concert.
School's out forever.
Made our way right to the front fence, and I almost got crushed.
Were you tall as a 12-year-old, Daryl, or was that the only way you were going to see anything?
I was pretty big.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty big. But
Did your parents know you were going?
Sorry?
Did your parents know?
Yeah, they did. Welcome to my nightmare, it was cool.
Good on you, Daryl.
I wouldn't have been allowed to go.
At 12.
My parents wouldn't let me see Kiss when I was in high school. I've never forgiven them for that.
What was wrong with Kiss? Were they just a bit too flamboyant?
What was right with Kiss? They were every parent's nightmare in the 80s.
Gene Simmons, was he sort of
coughing blood on stage and
sticking his tongue out?
Yeah. All these, it's kind of sexually laden lyrics as well.
On reflect, 30 years later, it's kind of all fairly mild, isn't it, compared to what's out there these days?
Andy in Titty Witty Beach, he's just texted in to rub my nose in. His favourite concert was Kiss, Adelaide Oval 1980. That's the one I wasn't allowed to go to.
All right,
I even had the Kiss Army show bag.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I was a paid-up member.
Were you dressed? Would have you gone dressed up?
I would have gone dressed as Ace Frehley. That was the plan.
All right, let's check traffic. Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter are now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Good morning. At Parafield Gardens, look out for a smash on the Salisbury Highway and Kings Road. Brighton burst water main there. Brighton Road near Jetty Road, speeds at 40. In the city, the lights are playing up Frome Street now Weymouth Street, and got a road weather alert for the Adelaide Hills this morning. That's fog, so do take some extra care if you're around there. Cameras around the area, Black Road, Flagstaff Hill, Commercial Road, Salisbury, and Lonsdale Road at Hallett Cove. Get moving, because on August 18, Anytime Fitness will have a $0 joining fee. One membership unlocks more than 500 clubs. Search Anytime Fitness, T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Friday night is definitely pork mince night. How about traditional spaghetti bolognese? Or Mexican pork mince chili? Or Hawaiian pork burgers? Yum! Check out all the recipes at pork.com.au and get some pork on your fork.
Hey, it's Mark Bickley. For 20 years, the team at Jarvis Toyota has been helping South Australian families keep that "oh, what a feeling" feeling. Over that time, Jarvis has put their support behind Variety, the children's charity, as platinum sponsor of the Variety 4-wheel drive adventure. And they've got plenty more support to give. If you're about to rediscover the road, make sure you take a proper test drive from the range at Jarvis Toyota. South Road, Clovelly Park, proudly celebrating 20 years of support in 2021.
Hello, it's Matthew Pantelis here to tell you all about the new FIVEaa app. You can now listen to all your favourite FIVEaa shows with the FIVEaa player. That is some great news. Speaking of news, you can also stay up to date with the very latest news from the FIVEaa newsroom whenever you want. The new FIVEaa player app gives you the best of everything. Listen to all your favourite FIVEaa shows and podcasts wherever you go, and it is absolutely free. Download it now from the App Store.
The FIVEaa player.
There's no blueprints to your new custom-built Beechwood home. Well, not yet anyway. But together with Beechwood, it won't take long to turn your ideas into sketches, then drawings, and finally a home you can live a beautiful life in. That's the really exciting thing about building with Beechwood Homes. They'll build the home you want. So collect your thoughts, your ideas, your Pinterest boards, whatever, and let's talk. Because life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
My favourite thing to do at St Andrew's School is reading. I love coming to school and getting to try new things like viola. I love coming to St Andrew's School because I can make new friends.
My school is all these things and more. It's what makes it one of South Australia's leading primary schools. Hi, I'm Carl, school captain at St Andrews. Book your place in our school tours tomorrow at 10 a.m. or Tuesday the 17th of August at 9:30 a.m. Just Google St Andrew's School.
What's for dinner? Try Cole's Easy Lamb and Black Bean Burgers recipe. Made with 5 ingredients in 25 minutes for just $4 per serve. Discover all the new delicious What's for Dinner recipes online at Coles & Co.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to FIVEaa Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
30 minutes to 7. Let's check in with SAPOL. Senior Constable Peter Squires on the line. Morning to you, Peter.
Good morning.
Now, a man's been arrested after a pursuit late last night. What happened?
Yeah, so last night, police spotted a Honda Civic travelling on Main North Road, Elizabeth Park. The Honda was suspected of being involved in a convenience store robbery earlier that day in Devon Park. Police directed the driver to stop. However, he did refuse, and the car was pursued onto Ely Road and Main North Road, where the police terminated the pursuit and they called in the police helicopter to assist. The Honda was tracked through North Adelaide, where he collided with a parked car in the car park of a hotel on Melbourne Street and with a fence on either street. Sometime later, patrols successfully spiked the car on Seaview Road at Henley Beach. The pursuit did come to an end when the Honda collided with a large rock on River Road at Torrensville. The driver abandoned the car and he jumped into the River Torrens. However, I think it was a bit fresh for him and he quickly surrendered himself to police and he was arrested without incident. A 22-year-old man from Salisbury East, he's been charged with driving dangerously to escape a police pursuit, failing to stop and give particulars after a crash, and a few other driving offences, and he will appear in the Elizabeth Magistrates Court later today.
Good stuff, Peter. Thank you. Senior Constable Peter Squire from SAPOL.
Crazy.
Jumping in the Torrens to evade police.
Yeah, look, there's a lot of things I'd jump into, but that's not one of them.
No. No wonder he went straight back to the warm embrace of the law after that. God.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you think about the muck that's in that river.
No, thanks. All right, let's talk weather. Simon Timke, Senior Forecaster at the Weather Bureau. Simon, looks like the weekend is going to be pretty nice, but let's start with today. What has Friday got in store?
Yeah, look, a foggy start. Quite a bit of fog around this morning, not just restricted to the Adelaide area, but fairly widespread areas across the agricultural area and far south of the pastoral districts of the state. So a bit of fog, and it's not too cold. We're sitting on 10 degrees in the city at the moment. Around the suburbs, most places around 9 or 10 degrees. So once that fog lifts, we'll see a partly cloudy day. Maybe there might be the odd shower around. The radar is pretty well clear at the moment, but there are a couple of showers down around the Fleurieu Peninsula and through Investigator Strait there. So chance of a shower or two, but wouldn't expect any big totals. Just less than a millimetre, I think. The winds generally a light northeasterly at the moment. We'll see them tend around northwesterly and then westerly during the afternoon. And as far as maximum temperature goes today, expecting 16 in the city. Around the suburbs, Noarlunga 16, Glenelg 16 as well, and Elizabeth 16 too, 15 degrees for Mount Barker. And then, as you said, a mostly dry weekend on the way and plenty of sunshine on Saturday, I think. Be a chance of seeing a little bit of morning fog again Saturday morning, but once that clears, a sunny day with light winds, so a good day for all the outdoor sport on Saturday. Tiny bit warmer than today too, 18 degrees the maximum for Saturday. And then another mostly sunny day on the way for Sunday, 18 degrees. Just a slight chance of a shower about the hills and southern suburbs a bit later in the day. And the wind's generally pretty light on Sunday as well. So pretty nice weekend ahead, guys.
Absolutely. Good on you. Thanks, Simon. Good text here from Sue in Christie's Beach on the old Chelsea Storm Mount Barker text line. Sue says, geez, this pea super is a 9 on the Vegemite jar scale. You'd have to agree with that, wouldn't you, Will?
Now, Sue knows as well as anyone, Vegemite jars are a measurement of length.
Oh, okay.
Not density of fog. Okay, so let's get that right.
What do you measure condensation with?
Well, that's peanut butter, so it's different. 9 to 7.
The all-new Isuzu MU-X. Exquisite styling. Exceptional tech and safety. And when it's time to get off the beaten track, it's exhilarating. You can go your own way. With extensive restyling, expanded off-road capability, plus 3.5-ton towing, the all-new 7-seat Isuzu MU-X is extraordinary. Search all-new MU-X.
Do you think a concert pianist needs a builder's license? No. Does a chartered accountant need one? Nah. Okay, then what about a house inspector? This will surprise you. Right now, there are no regulations in the industry that say you must be a builder to become a house inspector. Mike Pearl from House Inspect Australia is a third-generation licensed builder, and his team is the most qualified team in Australia for house inspections. It's the biggest purchase decision of your life. Don't risk it. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
Where can you see classic Formula One cars, iconic sports cars and the wildest hypercars? The Bend Classic, September 4th and 5th at the Bend Motorsport Park. Featuring some of the fastest and most exotic cars on the planet, plus classic racing cars and a collection of historic Formula One cars. What better way to celebrate Father's Day than at the Bend Classic? Tickets start from only $10 and kids 14 and under are free. For tickets, visit thebend.com.au.
We open our doors to people we trust and care about. And for over 85 years, South Australians have been opening their doors to Rest Haven. In turn, we've been opening doors to an easier, better life at home. From personal care to help with the shopping and social outings, you'll welcome the care that Rest Haven brings.
Feeling the burn?
Cheapest chips.
Save cash with Cheapest Chips Hot Buys. Crab Lease or Rexona sprays so hot. Any 2 for $6. Supreme Laundry 5-litre liquid or powder. Burning hot. Just $7.99 each. Finish 110 tablets. Scorchingly good. 2 for $30. And 25-litre potting mix. So hot. 3 for just $12. See this week's catalogue and get in store for more hot buys. Save cash and live cheaper with Cheapest Chips Hot Buys.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 to 7, we caught up with Natalie on Tuesday, the owner of a parrot by the name of Ricky that got lost and then was found some 700 k's away, which suddenly means in modern Australia you've got a problem with border restrictions. Here's Natalie speaking to 5AA Breakfast a couple of days ago.
So it's been nearly 2 weeks now, 13 days I think. I have basically posted on every social media platform I can think of, and a person actually sent me a text message to post on a website called Parrot Alert, which is worldwide. So I, registered and put it up on there, and obviously Tom and his beautiful daughter Isla that found him, I think were aware of it, or the vet were aware of it and had a look on the website, and he was obviously the only kakariki missing in Australia. So he gave me a call and said that he'd found him and where he was, and Yeah, it was a bit of a shock. He loves to fly. The Kakariki are well renowned for their aerobatics. So I would imagine that he sort of got out and thought it was great that he could fly.
Yeah, he did, and he flew on one hell of a journey. But the problem was getting him back to Natalie. Well, while we were having that conversation, we received a call off air from Darren, a truckie who saw an opportunity to help out, and Darren's on the line right now. Darren, good morning to you, mate.
Yeah, good morning, David and Will. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. So tell us what happened. You were listening to Natalie chat with us, and what happened next?
Yeah, so I was hearing Natalie's plight on the breakfast show there, and I immediately after she's finished talking, I've given you guys a ring to offer my services. I was actually had a trip booked to go to Melbourne that night. So yeah, gave you a call, and within 5 minutes, Natalie has returned my call. Grateful for the help.
So, mate, so there was some sort of arranged parrot retrieval point. Where did you go and get the bird from?
Yeah, well, I first had a pickup at Moorabbin, which was very close to where the parrot was located near Caulfield. So it was probably, a 20-minute trip from where I was first based in Melbourne. So really,
was it like waiting for you in a cage, just sitting there? Like, what was the handover like?
yeah, it was in a little pet cage, and the owners were very the actual owners in Melbourne were very sad to see it go. They were wanting to have it as a family pet because it was such a nice bird.
So, Darren, what's your rig at the moment? Did you pull up in some giant road train to pick up a small bird?
No. I've only got a small tray top truck. It's about 7 metres long, and we use it to carry big slabs of granite and marble around. So it's not a big, huge heavy trailer.
So you had the road trip after that with Ricky the parrot. Did you have it on the passenger seat? Did it talk much on the journey back home?
Well, I was warned that the parrot did talk, so I was actually a little bit prepared for it. But I had him stored on the passenger side footwell, and he didn't say a word at all on the way home at all. So that had me a little worried. I was sort of checking on him every 10 minutes. I was glancing down at the floor there, make sure he was still good to go.
And how was
sounds like a Monty Python sketch?
How was Natalie, Darren, when you managed to return Ricky?
Well, when I pulled up to Natalie's place, she had her whole family out in the street there with the phones recording, and they were over the moon. They were ecstatic. So.
What an excellent story.
Mate, you're an absolute legend, Darren. That's a really kind gesture.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
That was lovely of you.
Well, really wasn't really much to do because I was over there anyway, and I was coming back, and as it worked out, Natalie actually lives 2 streets away from me in the same suburb.
Seriously?
Is that right? Wow. You know what? It's a good illustration of you blokes driving across borders are keeping this country going at the moment. Saving pets,
100%.
delivering food, marble, whatever it might well be. So good on you, Darren. And thanks for calling in and good to chat with you.
Thanks, David Will. No worries.
What a great story.
Well, that's fantastic, isn't it?
You know, when Jim did his knee at school camp down at Robe, the truckies rang up and said, look, because I had to drive down to Robe and back in the same day to pick him up because he couldn't walk and had to take him to hospital and everything else, get scans done. But there were truck drivers who contacted our show and said, we can pick him up if you want. I was actually thinking about doing it. I thought, it might just be a bit weird to explain to school. Look, there's this bloke who's got a road train. He's coming back from the southeast.
Don't know his name.
Yeah. But, I can vouch for him. He's going to pick him up at the camp and stick him in the... But people are so nice, aren't they?
Yeah, it's nice to see.
And look, good on, it's nice to be able to play the sort of facilitating role in things like this here at FIVEaa.
The middlemen.
You want charity saved, undies bought for the homeless, you want parrots retrieved.
Yeah.
We're you guys.
8223 is your number. For today, it could win you a meat tray. Scott and Seacliff's called in with a memory of his first concert. Morning, Scott.
Hey, boys. 1996, I was about 7 or 8, went to see Michael Jackson at Adelaide Oval.
Oh, that was huge.
Yeah, it was great. Absolutely great.
Michael Jackson, what was that, the Thriller tour? No, it would have been later than that, wouldn't it?
I think it was later than that, but yeah, he played all his hits, stuff like that.
Yeah.
That was my first memory of my first concert, so yeah, it was awesome.
Fantastic.
Good
Good
one.
one, Scott.
Thanks, Scott.
Big names being mentioned in the first hour. It's going to be tough to work out a winner as we get closer to 9 o'clock today. 8223 0000 is the number. You can text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line. The meat tray, of course, thanks to Dane and Harry at Blackwood Country Meats. They're 248 Main Road at Blackwood.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two and 16 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
A man has been arrested after jumping into the River Torrens to evade police. Patrols spotted a stolen Honda Civic on Main North Road at Elizabeth Park last night, but the driver sped off, leading them on a chase to North Adelaide. Senior Constable Peter Schultz says he collided with a parked car on Melbourne Street and a fence on Edith Street before driving off.
Patrols successfully spiked the car on Seaview Road at Henley Beach. The pursuit did come to an end when the Honda collided with a large rock on River Road at Torrensville. The driver abandoned the car and he jumped into the River Torrens. However, I think it was a bit fresh for him and he quickly surrendered himself to police and he was arrested without incident.
The 22-year-old from Salisbury East has been charged with driving dangerously to escape a police pursuit, failing to stop and other offences. He'll face court today. Royal Show organisers could be in line for financial support as COVID forces the event to be shelved for the second year in a row. The Treasurer is encouraging the Show Society to make a funding submission. Ride operator Amanda Watkins was already setting up at Wayville, with the opening just weeks away.
We travelled 2,800 kilometres from middle of North Queensland to get here. We've transported all of our amusement rides here.
COVID exposure sites continue to grow in Victoria. Nine's Isabella Stokowski says it comes as 2 Sydney women who attempted to enter Melbourne without a valid permit have tested positive.
2 infected Sydney women have been fined almost $5,500 each after they tried to sneak into Melbourne and in doing so potentially exposed 46 staff and passengers on their Qantas flight. Meanwhile, we're no closer to knowing just how the Lockdown 6 outbreak started, but it has been linked back to Sydney. South Melbourne Market has joined the list of exposure sites. The entire market Tier 2, some shops Tier 1. This morning it will be closed. Last night it was deep cleaned. That list of locations has now blown out to more than 400, but in some good news, its growth trend is starting to slow.
The United States is temporarily deploying more troops to Afghanistan to help with the withdrawal of embassy staff in Kabul. The Pentagon says the 3,000 troops will also assist with the evacuation of special immigrant visa applicants. We're being warned not to click links sent in scam messages claiming to notify phone users of a missed call. There's been a spike in dodgy phone calls and messages in the past week. Telstra's Andrew Penn says they're blocking about 500,000 scam calls a day and millions of texts.
Be very, very careful. Really check out if something doesn't feel right. Don't click on it. Delete it. If you've got any doubts, there's lots of hotlines. The ACSC, the Australian Cybersecurity Centre, has got a hotline.
A man has been charged over the suspicious deaths of more than 40 horses on a property in outback Queensland. Nine's Jared Braybrook has more.
Police found the 41 slaughtered horses, including pregnant mares, on a property at Longreach last week. They will allege they were killed sometime between August 3 and 4. A 49-year-old Mount Isa man is due in court today, charged with 1 count of injuring animals. Investigations are ongoing. Anyone with information is urged to contact police.
And the $80 million Powerball jackpot went off last night. There was only one Div 1 winner, the ticket coming from Victoria. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected Asco dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
And we're heading into round 22 in the AFL, Tom Wren.
Looking forward to it, Mel. It's the penultimate round for the season, and Adelaide is set to take a young and inexperienced side in for Sunday's clash against Melbourne, with injuries causing some issues at West Lakes. The Crows have been forced to replace Brodie Smith and Will Hamill because of concussion, while Riley O'Brien is out with a knee injury. Captain Rory Sloane telling Rowie the opportunity to play on the MCG is something the younger players are excited for.
For our group, and a lot of them haven't played on the MCG, it's going to be a great experience and one that if you want to eventually play finals and win finals and win the big one, then you've got to perform on the MCG, and that's what we'll be looking to do.
Port Adelaide will take on Carlton at home tomorrow. The Power dropping Sam Powell-Pepper while Trent McKenzie is out injured. Defender Tom Cleary is back in the side. And round 22 gets underway tonight with GWS and Richmond battling it out with their seasons on the line. Let's go to other sport. The Melbourne Storm have recorded their 18th win in a row after taking care of the Canberra Raiders 26-16. Ange Postecoglou's Celtic have recorded a 3-0 win this morning as they look to qualify for the Europa League. They now only need one more win against Dutch side Azad Alkmaar. India has taken the upper hand after the opening day of the second test against India at Lords. After being sent in, the tourists finished the day at 3 for 276. KL Rahul leading the way with an unbeaten 127. And Olympic surfers Sally Fitzgibbons and Stephanie Gilmore are through to the quarter-finals at the Mexico Open. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Brighton, got a burst water main, Brighton Road near Jetty Road, speeds at 40. Trinity Gardens, expect delays on McGill Road near Portrush Road for the intersection upgrade. Works down there affecting speeds down to 40. Northfield, expect delays on Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works, down to one lane both directions. And got a road weather alert for the Adelaide Hills this morning for fog, so do take some care there. It's Amart Furniture's Friday the 13th blackout sale. Shop online or in store and receive 13% off full-priced items at Amart for today only. All stores open till 8 p.m. Adelaide most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
A shower or two, 16 today, mostly sunny tomorrow, 18, and the same again on Sunday. Right now it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Keep on running. Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 minutes after 7, Phil Curry coming up this hour on the program. John Blake before 8 o'clock. We'll talk AFLW. Rowie had the CEO of the Port Adelaide Football Club, Matthew Richardson, on last night. We'll talk about that just before 7. But first, let's get into some of the big stories in Adelaide over the last 24 hours. And we start with the news that the Royal Show will not be going ahead in 2021.
We were happy to work with reduced numbers, maybe in the order of even 25,000 or 20, but that's not going to be approved. Devastated.
That's John Rothwell from the Adelaide Show. We'll be speaking with Michelle Hocking in the next 10 minutes about the decision. There's a really fascinating South Australian and I think probably more broadly Australian controversy developing with regard to Breaker Morant, the subject of a very famous movie.
Lieutenant Morant, Captain Hunt was a particular friend of yours.
Yes. I was engaged to his sister in England.
So his death was very disturbing to you?
Well, it was more the way he died. He was mutilated.
You were present at the action where Captain Hunt was killed?
No.
Well, then how do you know he wasn't killed in a fair fight?
Because I saw his body.
Sometime later, you can't possibly know how Captain Hunt met his death. So you cannot produce any evidence to connect FIVEaa with it. So then, why did you order him to be shot?
It is customary during a war to kill as many of the enemy as possible.
And was your court at the trial of FIVEaa constituted in any way like this? What rule did you shoot him under?
Like this? Oh, no, sir, no, it wasn't quite like this. No, sir, it wasn't quite so handsome. And as for rules, we didn't carry military manuals around with us. We were out on the veldt, fighting the Boer, the way he fought us. I'll tell you what rule we applied, sir. We applied Rule 303. We caught them, and we shot them under Rule 303.
That is just one of the best pieces of script writing and acting and cinema ever. Like, a lot of people talk about Jack Nicholson in A Few Good Men, similar theme, obviously, but that really is the template.
Edward Woodward.
What a great movie.
Wicker Man. Now, the reason it's a controversy here in very much in South Australia is because a relative of Harry Breaker Moran has launched a bid to have his name put on the Boer War Memorial that's currently outside Government House here in Adelaide. So she says that he signed up here in South Australia as part of the SA Mountain Rifles in 1899, went up through the ranks. He's not currently recognised on the memorial. The controversy about his career, for which he was executed, which was his war crimes, but whilst he was serving for the British. And so she says he should be added to the memorial that's currently there, here in South Australia, North Terrace and King William Street. There are 59 men on it currently. There was an extra name. It has happened before. Back in 1925, an extra name was added to the memorial. But so the controversy is, the question around whether his name should be added is twofold. One, do you put someone who's a convicted war criminal on there? And two, do you just add names to old memorials? Because, and as one expert was quoting the Times this morning, it looks a little bit odd when you put something on after the fact.
Well, I wonder too how the descendants of other people whose names are on the memorial would feel, given that their loved ones served without blemish.
Yes.
And there is a cloud over Harry Breaker-Moran.
Yeah.
It's more than a cloud.
It's more than a cloud. I mean, he was convicted at trial for, if you go back and read it, it's just about as heinous a group of things as you can do in war.
The other thing too is a movie is not historical truth. A movie is a rendering of what occurred that may actually be somewhat removed from what exactly happened.
Yep. Now, look, there are historians who will argue that he did what he did under orders, and as such, he isn't solely culpable for these crimes that happened when he was serving with the British, with executing teachers and a reverend and innocents and all sorts of people. But
didn't the Nuremberg trials deal with the question of saying I was only taking orders?
100%. And within the evidence in his own trial, there was plenty of other people in his group that said, "Hey, this is totally wrong." And he said, "Well, fine, you'll be next."
It is interesting because the moral debate, is happening right now in an Australian court involving Ben Roberts-Smith.
Absolutely.
It's the same.
Yep.
And it's such a morally blurry area, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure Ben Roberts-Smith, I reckon one of his favourite films, and indeed favourite scenes from a film, is probably the one we just played.
I would suspect so. So, I mean, there is a debate, but I can't... If it was up to me, there's no way, given what we know right now, that you'd be adding his name to that memorial. Let's treasure the names of those, as you say, that have an unblemished service record. Hey, this was a pretty extraordinary happening that unfortunately meant that a whole bunch of our listeners didn't get to win.
A Victorian is waking up a multi-millionaire this morning, and they don't even know it yet. Powerball's $80 million jackpot was scooped up by just one winner. While the lot has confirmed the ticket was purchased in Victoria, it had incomplete contact information.
Yeah, that's Edwin and Bartholomew on Sunrise. So,
how'd you be though, being in Victoria on day 3, almost day 400 of the lockdown? Like, well, I've won all this money. What am I going to do? I don't know. I'll go to the supermarket.
How do you not know?
I'll go out and buy some essential items for the pantry. Buy all the toilet rolls.
Well, you could buy your local shop, couldn't you? Right. And the building, the entire real estate.
Buy your own toilet roll aisle.
Buy your own real toilet roll company.
Oh yeah,
80 million. That'd get you there, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure. Oh no, I don't think so. They'd be valued a lot more than that. Kimberly Clark, they're based down in Naracoorte, aren't they?
Oh, I guess I'm thinking more of a boutique toilet roll company. Doing, high end local product.
Yeah,
craft toilet rolls.
Craft toilet rolls.
13 after
There's
7.
A concept.
Yeah, hey, take that and run with it. There's your $1 billion idea. Everyone gets one. Let's check traffic before we turn our attention to the Royal Show. Michelle Hocking is coming up in just a moment. Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and our Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Brighton, got a burst water main, Brighton Road near Jetty Road, speeds at 40. Trinity Gardens, expect delays, McGill Road near Portrush Road for the intersection upgrade works. Speeds down to 40 k's there. Got a road weather alert for the Adelaide Hills this morning. Got fog around a few areas and also in the city too. So take some care. Quite a bit of fog around this morning. And look out for cameras, Black Road, Flagstaff Hill, Chandler's Hill Road, Happy Valley, and Dyson Road at Christie's Beach. Score $100 off your first electricity bill with Power Shop. New residential customers in SA. Conditions apply. Basic plan information documents are available at powershop.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Finally, you can get back to the Lion. Get back to early knock-off drinks with your workmates and friends. And we've got something you'll want to come back to the Lion for. $8 glasses of wine and $10 spritz cocktails, $6 schooners, and that's all tap beers.
Back to the Lion.
Get back to Knock-Off Drinks, 3 p.m. till 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Get back to where you belong. The Lion, North Adelaide.
At Swan Security, we've been keeping Australian homes safe for over 30 years. Our new Extreme Wireless cameras combine easy setup with extremely long rechargeable battery life up to 6 months. With HD video, two-way talk, mobile alerts, free recording and more, all controllable on the Swan Security app. The Extreme is now available from leading electronics retailers and swan.com. So turn your home sweet home into a home safe home with Swan Security.
Schools, councils and businesses all over South Australia choose Leader Computers. For very important reasons, Leader is local and exceptional value. No matter what happens, Leader can be on site to fix your problem. No overseas or interstate call centres to deal with. Plus, Leader Computers is a 100% owned and operated South Australian company offering fast same-day delivery and setup. That's why so many organisations rely on Leader. Google Leader Computers to find your closest Leader reseller.
I don't really like talking on radio, but I do like talking about our cows at the FIVEaa Milk Company. And I love helping support SA dairy farmers. They're a great bunch with beautiful families. They work day and night to produce the best milk in SA. So when you're in the supermarket, look for FIVEaa Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it. I'm getting good at this.
FIVEaa Milk Company, celebrating 15 years of SA business. FIVEaamilkco.com.au.
Now, David, we are huge fans of the Adelaide Central Market. We're Team Central Market.
We are.
I had the best night last Saturday where the footy and the basket was on. Boomers won bronze. The showdown was on. I watched the half time, so it was perfect. But before that, we went to the Central Market and got prep, cheese, meat, drinks, everything. Made it a great night. Anyway.
The two cheese shops in the centre of the market.
Oh, we went to the
You can't buy bad cheese there.
We went to both because I feel bad for one if you don't buy the other.
Yeah,
and I just all felt bad for my stomach afterwards. Look, and we're also big fans of supporting local, which is right now hugely important.
Love the market. The Adelaide Central Market is a collective of 70 traders, suppliers, growers, producers, all working together to bring you the best and freshest produce available.
From fruit and veg, seafood, meat, bread and milk to world-class cheese, continental or even take-home meals, it's all at your fingertips. You can also stay and enjoy a meal or a coffee with market dining back to 75% capacity. So you won't have an issue getting in anywhere. And if you can't get to the market, simply order your favourite market goodies online for contactless home delivery every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday.
Get to the Adelaide Central Market, open Tuesday to Saturday. For more info, visit their fantastic website, adelaidecentralmarket.com.au.
Great business starts when you're in control. With the Optus Business Connect plan, get up to 8 SIMs and up to 300 gig of data, all on one simple plan. Great business starts with yes. Explore the Optus Business Connect plan in-store or online today. T's and C's apply.
Hi, Alan Lark from Maddox Air. Here's a split system deal you don't want to miss. The all-new Bonaire Optima L series with a full 7-year warranty is here. That's right, a full 7-year parts and labour warranty plus Wi-Fi control. Get one installed to a bedroom from just $11.99, a lounge room from $13.99 and a large living area from an unbelievable $17.99. For a free quote, call 1300 Mannix or go online anytime.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
80 minutes after 7, some disturbing news out of the UK. Police in Plymouth have confirmed a number of fatalities in a serious firearms incident. Devon and Cornwall police were called to Biddick Drive in the Kiam area today. The force said there have been a number of fatalities at the scene, several other casualties receiving treatment.
In Cornwall?
Yeah, Plymouth Moorview MP Johnny Mercer has tweeted it's not terror-related and the suspect is not on the run. Police had declared a critical incident but said they believe it is now contained.
Wow.
That's all the information we have to this point
What a
in time.
sleepy part of the world.
Yeah. Well, I drove through that way a year ago. No, it's 18 months ago now. Beautiful, beautiful part of England.
Yeah, down the south coast there.
We'll keep you abreast of any developments on that front, but it sounds like the situation is now under control. 19 after 7. Geez, we're getting a mountain of texts this morning on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line with entries for the meat tray. We'll get to some of those shortly, but first we want to talk about the Royal Show. Not going ahead, we learnt yesterday. The Premier made the announcement that COVID had claimed the show for a second consecutive year. Michelle Hocking's the General Manager of the Royal Show and joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Michelle, this is very sad news.
Oh, it is. And I feel terrible because a week ago, I think it was, we were saying, talking about it. And, at that point, things were looking really positive. And David, you said, I don't want to tell the kids for another year in a row. So I'm sorry, you're going to have to.
Yeah, I know. We got a text just now, Michelle, from a mum who said her daughter works at Erbray Agricultural School and said yesterday the kids were beside themselves hearing the show was cancelled because they worked so hard for 2 years. I know they've got the huge rural connection there at that school, but have we raised the white flag too early? And that's not put at you, that's put at SA Health and the rest of whoever's running the state at the moment.
I don't know. Look, I don't know. I mean, they know what they know. We know what we know. We know that there's 0 cases at the moment and we were all ready to go. And I suppose the crunch time come on Wednesday, late in the afternoon when, we were advised by SA Health that the most we could have on site would be 10,000 people. Now, put that in perspective, we can have that many people working at the show, and even if it was half of that, 5,000 paying customers, you think about all the work that's gone on at the show, the commercial exhibitors, the rides, the show bags, all the entries, the competitions, the return on investment's just not there for them.
Are you at a point we've done quite a bit on the show about what happened at the Beer and Barbecue Festival a few weeks ago, just before the hard lockdown. Are you at the point where the show, like the Agricultural Society and also private businesses, have already spent money on logistics for this year's show?
It's millions. It's millions. By the time, to keep a showground looking as good as it is a huge expense. The marketing campaign was well underway. You've got your staff at full capacity 3 weeks out from the show. There's a lot of contract staff that come in. You're building stands, You've got all your insurances in place except for COVID cover. All these things are happening, and it takes a good 12 to 18 months to prepare for a show. So, there's that lead time is huge. So, and as I said, ensuring that all the pavilions you've got, you've got lifts, maintenance, the lawns, all that. I mean, it's to run a venue like we do as a not-for-profit. We don't get annual government funding for anything we do. It's a huge expense. So
does this pose a threat to the long-term viability of the show?
No. Look, it's going to be tough. There's no, won't beat around the bush there. On the back of last year, this year will be even harder than last year because last year there was a lot of government support in JobKeeper and other programs. This year you're on your own. So this year will be a bigger hit. Look, we'll be okay, but it just means that it's going to be a long slog to get out of it. It's going to be years' work to get back to where we were. And in terms of any new infrastructure or, any, new initiatives, they're just all going to sit on the back burner. It'll have to be, your basic annual things that you do, just to pay the debt down, basically.
Well, it's very sad news, Michelle. We were hoping that it wouldn't come to this. Sadly, it has, and whatever we can do here at 5AA to support you guys as you go through the next weeks, through the smouldering wreckage of what was planned for 2021. Sing out Michelle Hocking, the General Manager of the Royal Adelaide Show. 23 minutes after 7. Let's turn our attention to sport. Toyota Land Cruiser 300 Series is coming to North Point Toyota. Don't miss out. Order now. It is the North Point way. Big news for the Port Adelaide Football Club yesterday. They're joining the AFLW, and Rowie caught up with CEO Matthew Richardson last night.
We're really excited now that it feels like our club is now complete. To have a women's team now who sit proudly alongside our men's program on the national stage, and I guess bring that 150 years of heritage and tradition into AFLW is a really exciting and significant day for our club.
Will you get Erin Phillips?
Yeah, as I said, we'll be in the market row for the best possible person to lead Port Adelaide in our first AFLW season.
You'd like to get her, but why wouldn't you? You're allowed to say yes. I mean, Richo, it'll be the first person I'd ring.
Well, certainly wouldn't need to teach her anything about the Port Adelaide culture.
Well answered.
I hate the silly language that exists in footy. Of course, you want to get one of the best players in the league. Why are you going to play ducks and drakes with it?
No.
That's not just Matthew Richards. Everyone does it. Why don't you just say? Would love to. Of course we
well,
would.
Yeah,
Who wouldn't?
The best judges, well, what do you think, Sherlock? Of
Yeah,
course.
that's right. Yeah, no. What we're going to do is try to build a team out of really average players.
Yeah. We're really the market for a lot of people aren't even familiar with the game.
Great
no,
news.
she's a crow now, though.
She is.
She's a crow.
Great news for the
Aaron Phillips'
AFLW. I think it's having an AFLW showdown, I think it'll be sensational. The crowds they still get. We went to a game at the parade the last AFLW season. They're still fantastic. And the atmosphere is very different. You get families with a lot of young kids that are able to go there and run around a bit. And yeah, I think it's just great. And if you love, as we said earlier, if you love Australian rules football, there's no other emotion you have than be delighted at these kind of announcements. The idea this competition has now grown to the full 18 teams is a sign that this code is the preeminent code in Australia. I can tell you, being involved a little bit in hockey, and I'm sure there's a host of other women's sports in this bag too. They are doing it tough on the women's side since AFL's come in.
Yeah, right.
Because there's a lot of girls who grew up and they have spent their whole life being AFL fans. They love the sport. But suddenly they're 25, 28, 30, and they go, hang on, I can go across and play, and they're doing it.
I reckon it's going to affect netball too. Like when I did that piece at the Goody Saints, but on the day of the women's grand final earlier this year, so many of the girls I interviewed said, well, I was playing netball and I found it really boring. Because they want to get out there. And a lot of them have grown up playing with their school friends.
Yep.
They might have older brothers. They've been kicking the ball in the backyard. They've been tackling. They've been handballing. And I'm certainly not a crack at netball. I'm just saying that of the 4 girls I interviewed for that story, all 4 of them said, yeah, I was playing netball, but I wanted to do this. Why should the guys have all the fun?
We're in the midst of a massive revolution in the world of women's sport. You look at what women's football, the World Game, soccer is doing in Europe at the moment, the speed and the size it is now. It went from being the MLS being such a major competition to now you've got people in the women's equivalent of the Premier League playing in England like Sam Kerr earning $600,000 a year. The money that's in it, the interest that's in it, we're right in the middle of that revolution. It's happened so quickly.
I think too the sort of knee-jerk and sexist dismissal of women's AFL when it started a few years ago now looks pretty dated and lame. And like thinking about the women's soccer during the during the Olympics, the thing that I thought was truly awesome about it, not just that the standard was so high. Now, I don't know whether this points to 2 things, i.e., 1, women have a higher pain threshold, and 2, men are bigger egomaniacs. One thing about the women's soccer is no diving.
Yeah,
There's
it's
no
interesting,
staging.
isn't it? Culturally, it's different.
They get kicked, they get up again.
Yeah.
They're not... And you look at some of the Ponzi blokes, particularly during the Euros. I mean, there were guys that hadn't even been touched. They were writhing around like they'd just been shot by...
It's really interesting, isn't it? You see
but
there's
there's
subtle
no
differences.
staging.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
So, yeah, bring it on. I reckon, let 1,000 flowers bloom. Too much sport's barely enough, as H.G. and Roy used to say. And good luck to the Port AFLW side.
Absolutely. Toyota Land Cruiser 300 Series coming to North Point Toyota. Don't miss out. Order now. It is the North Point way.
There was a time when I'd put up with overcooked steak. I'd look for the least expensive meal on the menu, and yet I'd pay over the odds for the sake of fashion. I was even prepared to drink cheap wine once. But you reach a stage in life when you're no longer prepared to compromise, and that's why I choose Call Me Continence products. Drier, more comfortable, more discreet. Call Me. CORMIE. Confidence without compromise.
Get the roses you want at Garden Grove. They have a huge selection in stock, including Australia's top roses. There's new season standard, bush and climbing roses. So for all your favourite roses and the newest releases, head into Garden Grove, Golden Grove Road, Golden Grove.
Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, that's the garden. Garden Grove, the garden that I want.
Phone 8251 1111 for delivery to your area. At Swan Security, we've been keeping Australian homes safe for over 30 years. Our new extreme wireless cameras combine easy setup with extremely long rechargeable battery life up to 6 months. With HD video, two-way talk, mobile alerts, free recording and more, all controllable on the Swan Security app. The Extreme is now available from leading electronics retailers and Swan.com. So turn your home sweet home into a home safe home with Swan Security.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
Windows when and where you want them. Windows when and where you want them.
More Australians die of heart disease than any other cause. Every day, 50 families are torn apart. And the heartache lasts a lifetime. But if you donate to the Heart Foundation, you can help us fund life-saving research to help keep more families together and end the heartache. Donate to the Heart Foundation today.
Lawless, the termite people.
Yes, Lawless are still the termite people, celebrating over 78 years in pest control. For termite or other pest problems, call Lawless on 8443 9636 or online at lawlerpestcontrol.com.au for really good information on all pests. Call Lawless, the people you can trust, on 8443 9636 for a free survey and quote. That's 8443 9636.
Lawless, the termite people.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two in 16 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Trust Physio Extra. Norwood, Purie Street, Marion, Hallicove, Seaford and Victor Harbour. PhysioExtra.com.
A police pursuit has ended with a man jumping into the River Torrens. The chase began at Elizabeth Park last night when police spotted a stolen Honda Civic on Main North Road. The car was suspected of being involved in a convenience store robbery earlier that day in Davern Park. Police followed it through North Adelaide where it collided with a parked car and a fence before it was spiked on Seaview Road at Henley Beach. The driver hit a large rock on River Road at Torrensville before abandoning the car and jumping into the river. Senior Constable Peter Schultz says he surrendered soon after.
A 22-year-old man from Salisbury East, he's been charged with driving dangerously to escape a police pursuit, failing to stop and give particulars after a crash, and a few other driving offences, and he will appear in the Elizabeth Magistrates Court later today.
Organisers of the Royal Adelaide Show say they'll survive a second year with no event, but it's going to be tough going. Crowd restrictions due to COVID have made it unfeasible to run the event in 2021. General Manager Michelle Hocking has told 5AA Breakfast it's a huge financial hit.
You know, it's going to be tough. Won't beat around the bush there. You know, on the back of last year, this year will be even harder than last year because last year there was a lot of government support in JobKeeper and other programs. This year will be a bigger hit. Look, you know, we'll be okay, but it just means that it's going to be a long slog to get out of it. You know, it's going to be years' work to get back to where we were.
More of Australia is waking up in lockdown today. Canberra has shut up shop as the ACT records 4 COVID cases. Meantime, the number of Sydney areas subject to tougher restrictions has grown to 12. Nine's Clinton Maynard has more.
Thousands of workers who were legally allowed to go to work yesterday aren't allowed this morning. Overnight, the council areas of Bayside, Burwood and Strathfield have been placed into tighter lockdown despite just a handful of new cases. The decision's been made because of their proximity to the Canterbury Bankstown LGA. Workers must be on the authorised list, while construction workers who are vaccinated can work. Police Commissioner Mick Fuller will also present his plans for revised health orders to Crisis Cabinet today and could include a permit system for people who need to leave Sydney.
Children under 9 are increasingly testing positive to COVID in New South Wales. In the past 2 weeks, children and teenagers have made up more than 1/3 of cases. However, experts say the vast majority of children don't get seriously ill and only a handful experience longer-term symptoms. In England, multiple people have been killed in an incident in Plymouth. Nine's Steve Marshall reports.
Armed police and at least 4 air ambulances flooded the Plymouth suburb of Keam after locals said they heard gunshots shortly after 6 p.m. It's understood that up to 5 people have died in the serious firearms incident. Police have confirmed that there have been multiple fatalities, but the incident is not believed to be terror-related. It is also claimed that the shooter was shot by armed police officers after the bloody rampage.
Singer Britney Spears' father has agreed to step down as the conservator of her estate. The 13-year arrangement has been the subject of a lengthy legal battle. Harvey Levin from TMZ has read from the court documents.
Regardless of his formal title, Mr. Spears will always be Miss Spears' father. He will always love her unconditionally, and he will always look out for her best interest. So this is Jamie Spears basically saying, I can't fight anymore.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Asco washer-dryer packages. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr. Dishwasher.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. The teams are out for the Crows and Port Adelaide ahead of their respective matches this weekend. The Power have dropped Sam Powell-Pepper, while the Crows will trim their squad today ahead of Sunday's match against Melbourne. Meantime, Collingwood caretaker coach Robert Harvey says he's not sure what the future holds as his stint at the helms comes to an end. Harvey stepped up after Nathan Buckley announced his departure. He says he has not been updated about the process of finding a permanent coach after his initial conversation with football boss Graham Wright.
I had a really upfront conversation with Graham Wright initially when I took the job. My brief was pretty clear, and that was to get the most out of the last 9 games. He said that they'd be starting that process around next year. He would touch base with me at the right time as to my part in that process.
Meantime, Carlton won't be releasing details of its review. A letter from Carlton President Mark Lagudiche to board challenger Vince Lociano, seen by the Herald Sun, rejects a call to go public to eliminate any risk of damage to the reputations of good Carlton people. And former Crows coach Beck Goddard will return to the AFLW competition as Hawthorn's inaugural coach. Goddard previously coached Adelaide to the first ever AFLW flag in 2017. And in some golf to finish, play has been suspended in the opening round of the Wyndham Championship in North Carolina due to inclement weather. American Russell Henley leads the way at 8 under, while Adam Scott is the best of the Aussies, 4 shots back. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Quite thick fog around a few areas today, so take it easy on the road. And we do have a road weather alert for the Adelaide Hills this morning, so do take some extra care there. Brighton Burst Watermain, Brighton Road near Jetty Road, speeds at 40. And Trinity Gardens, expect delays McGill Road near Port Rush Road for the intersection upgrade works. It's affecting both directions and speeds reduced down to 40 k's. Cameras, Roberts Road, Hackham West, Saints Road, Salisbury Plain, and Sheriffs Road at Morford Vale. Until September 1, Specsavers is giving everyone with health cover $50 off lens options like anti-smudge, polarisation and more. You don't even need extras cover. Conditions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
A shower or two for your Friday, 16. A bit of fog around as well. Mostly sunny tomorrow, 18. Sunday the same. Right now it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 8. John Blake coming up before 8. We'll have a look at the weekend's weather and a little spoiler alert. Looks pretty reasonable. We'll get some more specific details shortly. Then after 8 o'clock today, Orazio Fantasia from the Port Adelaide Football Club and Ryan Fitzgerald will get to talk all things football. But first, let's get into federal politics. Phil Curry from the Fin Review is on the line from within. Is this your first lockdown over there, Phil, in Canberra, since the nationwide one last year?
Yes.
Yeah. How's it going over there?
We're a bit unpractised at it.
I got a text yesterday, Phil, from a mutual friend of ours, Ben Mitchell.
Yeah.
He sent me a picture of Manuka, the meat aisle at the Manuka Coles, and there was one rolled bowler roast left. That was all.
People went nuts. Working in the news business, we sort of heard the rumours early in the morning. I mean, just through contacts in the ACT government, and so I actually rang my wife and said, just pop down to the supermarket and if you got time, and you might want to tell your mother to do the same. And then about 3 hours later, all hell broke loose in Canberra. The supermarkets were cleaned out. So it's they put us into lockdown at 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Again, thanks to Sydney, it appears. We've been exposed here like the rest of regional New South Wales, has been exposed because the New South Wales government, for whatever reason, doesn't think you need to ring a steel around Sydney. So it's, one by one, various council areas in New South Wales have been getting infected, and we joined the club yesterday. The government here is not telling us why, but everyone knows why, because it's a small town. This idiot who spread it went to Sydney.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I was reading about the bloke who brought it into Canberra. He sounds like a sort of born-again Christian crossed with, some ecstasy-addled nightclub dancer.
No, but we think he's a bouncer.
Oh, righty.
Oh, that makes a lot more
sense.
sense.
Oh, okay. So he's a bouncer.
He was in the bar till 5 in the morning. Then he went to church.
So he's a bouncer.
and he spends the rest of the day. What would be about 2 of the big exposures?
I was with David. That was my assessment of the kind of character we must have been dealing with.
Yeah, we thought it was someone who'd been out clubbing and taking pingers until the crack of dawn, and then got the attack of the guilts and thought he'd go to confessional.
No. I seen a picture of the guy. He's massive. So, one of the exposure sites is his gym he seems to live at. So, the unfortunate thing is he's only 27 and all his friends are only 27. They live a similar lifestyle, so they've sort of been everywhere, like young people have been. So, we're just going through what everyone else is going through at the moment. It's a bit easier here in the ACT because it's like a big country town, so we don't have the sort of the population density and things like that. And people are generally pretty smart, not all. So we'll just wait and see.
What's the mood of the community like, Phil? Resignation?
No, just annoyed. Just really annoyed because, a lot of people say it was only a matter of time, but that's not right. The Berejiklian government could have, they've no shortage of advice telling them to ring fence Sydney, otherwise it's going to get into regions. And even the government here was really slack. They said, there's too many entrances into the ACT to police, but that's rubbish. There's only four main, highways, and they could have at least made an effort. So I'm annoyed at it because I thought it was avoidable.
Phil, we became the first state in Australia, I think, earlier this week to announce that from Monday next week, everyone over the age of 16 to 40 will now be allowed to book in and get Pfizer appointments. You can book, but you won't get it until mid-September, October, when the next big run of vaccines come into the country, into South Australia. The Premier told us there's no question mark over whether those will arrive. We'll get them. That's not going to be a question mark. But I was interested to read this morning, you've written about the Prime Minister and the federal government seeming to scour the globe looking for any leftover Pfizer vaccines they can find.
Yeah, and they've been doing this for a while, Will. So Pfizer as a company has been very good in terms of reliability. Remember at the beginning of this year, 3 million AstraZeneca doses we ordered from Europe never showed up. We haven't had that problem with Pfizer. They've met all their orders, not just to us, but to all the other countries around the world pretty well. And so there is, because we're desperate for it here, because of the now well-documented problems with the vaccine rollout, we've got enough AstraZeneca, but Pfizer's the one everyone wants. So it's literally been a case of the Prime Minister been ringing other world leaders saying you're not using. The Health Minister, Greg Hunt's been doing the same. Our embassy staff in Eastern and Western Europe and the US doing the same. The Americans sent us 900,000 doses of AstraZeneca last week, but those we sent straight to the Pacific because remember we'd promised to vaccinate our Pacific neighbours. So that enabled us to keep using our AstraZeneca here. But they jagged another 200,000 doses of Pfizer this week, and I know we're on the cusp of securing 1 million doses from one country, but I chose not to write that because when I put it to the government, they said if you write that, it won't happen. So we chose not to name that country. Oh, because someone will come in and outbid us.
Yeah, right.
Or people in that country will find out about it and get cranky and say, well, we're giving our vaccine to the Australians. So it's this stuff.
So you didn't write the story?
No, I wrote the story. I just didn't name the country.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. There's got to be there's a national interest here. So, I could have been a hero and named the country, and then cost us 1 million Pfizer jabs. But
shame, Curie, shame.
Yes, exactly. So, so it is quite. It does sort of show that the government is very conscious of not only the need for vaccines here, but the political damage it's been taking over the vaccine rollout. And so they're just, we'll drop pants for food is sort of it's sort of the motto.
It'll look good on a cardboard sign being held up by the PM.
Quite evocative.
So, mate, can you play golf?
No, which is annoying. Now, this is a proper lockdown. Our last lockdown wasn't really that tough. Like we could still play golf in pairs and do things like that. And but this one's pretty hardcore. You know, an hour a day outside your house. It's more like a Melbourne one than it's definitely not like the Sydney one. Although I think Bunnings and a few other those sort of places are still open, but it's pretty strict about, they want you to even stay in your suburb rather than...
Will the fish markets be open? You'll still be able to get down there to get some food?
They are, but they've advised you not to go outside your sort of suburb, so to buy groceries or stuff. So I'm still going to work, so I'm an essential worker.
Yeah.
But, it's straight in the Parliament and straight back home sort of thing. And
so Parliament still sits as normal?
Well, it is, and it's a bit silly. I mean, it's not sitting next week. So the parties just said, well, we'll just wait and see. But when we went to lockdown yesterday, there was this. They just headed for the doors, especially the Tasmanians and the Queenslanders and a lot of the Victorians. So the Queenslanders, for example, if they made a race to get home so they could avoid having a quarantine in Queensland, because Queensland didn't designate us as a hotspot, but they got pinged anyhow because the Queensland government said, sorry, if you've been in Canberra since last Sunday, you've got to go into home quarantine. So it's a real mess. And I just cannot see the point of it. There was such a going through the motions sort of Parliament yesterday, but the government, I think, if you gave them the chance, would cancel it. But Labor, obviously it's in their interest to keep Parliament going so they can, hammer the government on everything. So it's a bit of a waste. I mean, you wouldn't even know Parliament's sitting. There's that few staff in the building. Half the building's shut down, and there's no staff, and it's a bit weird.
Well, good luck, mate.
Yeah,
that'll be fine.
Hopefully, it's just 7 days.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, they don't. The old short, sharp lockdown didn't last long, did it? The old 3-day. I don't think they exist anymore. But
we were lucky. We're the only state that's got in and out on schedule recently.
Yeah, the only state that's got double quarantine too. That's a cracker of an idea.
Yeah, well, win a gold medal. Welcome back to Australia and staying out for a month.
They even made it to CNN, that one.
Yeah. I tell you what, though,
it's popular.
Good luck finding a South Australian who's bagging it.
Yeah, it's popular here.
It's popular. Yeah. You should read an article in the Sydney Morning Herald by Chip LeGrand.
Yeah, I know we did.
We did.
It's a good piece.
Get on your Phil. Cheers, Phil. Phil Curry from the Australian Financial Review. I went on 6PR in Perth to talk about it with them yesterday, and the tone was like, Phil, it's sort of, let's cross to the Adelaide guy to find out what Adelaide people think. And I had to tell them, look, you know what? We did a show about it, and almost universally everyone thought it was a good idea.
Well, I think part of the problem with that is that the AOC are clearly full of crap.
Yes.
Reading their letter last night, just read you one part. This is from their CEO, Matt Carroll. He says, there have been no reasons provided why the exemption and subsequent appeal have been rejected. Well, Matt Carroll, sorry, mate. Read the letter that Nicola Spurrier sent to you in reply to your request for a special case. She said, no, we're not doing it. We're not doing it because of the Argentinian case. That was the reason, whether you agree with it or not. So they're not used to being questioned, the AOC. They think they're above government.
Being told no.
Yeah.
Kerry and Nord's called in with a meat tray entry. What was your first concert memory, Kerry?
Hi, Dave and Will. My cousin and I went to the Beatles concert in 1964
Wow.
at Centennial Hall.
What's your strongest memory from it?
Oh, my strongest memory. We were 3 rows from the front. Bob Francis worked the crowd up to an absolute frenzy. The Beatles came out. I stood up, screamed, wet my pants. I was just beside myself. It was like the second coming, seriously. The kids in Adelaide were just beside themselves. And I think the next day my ears were still ringing from the screaming. And then come years later, I'm married, had 3 sons named George, John and Paul. No Ringo, but look, I just love the Beatles to this day.
Oh, that's commitment and a great story, Kerry. Thank you.
That's terrific.
John in Northfield, what's your earliest concert memory?
Mine was 56, 57. Bill Haley and the Comets, Freddie Bell and the Bellboys, and the Platters. Was that
all three together on the same bill?
Yeah.
How many people would have been there, John?
Oh, God. Tivoli Theatre. Most probably 300 or 400.
Bill Haley and the Comets.
What a great memory.
The very dawn of rock and roll.
Absolutely. Good on you, John. Tracy in Woodcroft, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I went to Methodist Ladies College, and I think this was in 76, where the Angels, that was a new band then, came and played in our assembly hall. The headmistress approved it all. And as we know, in 77, they produced Am I Ever Going to See Your Face Again? And obviously there's lots of swearing and carry on in that. So every time I hear that song and with the swearing, it just makes me smile because Stage performed at Methodist Ladies College.
That's a cool headmistress.
I tell you what, of all the most incongruous bands to get to play at the Methodist Ladies College, like, I mean, you even think of the lyrics to No Secrets, you know, late at night when the lights are all out, she takes off her stockings and shoes. What's the headmistress thinking while that's going on?
She was off to bed.
Yeah, just having a quiet kip.
Maria, should I say, in Seaton. Good morning.
Good morning, boys. How are you?
Good.
Good, thanks, Maria.
Look, my very first concert experience as a young, naive girl back in the 70s was the Bay City Rollers at Apollo Stadium.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic.
Oh, my God. And did we scream. And you think that lady before me with the Beatles, she nearly wet her pants. I think all of my friends and I, we just screamed and screamed all night. Whatever.
Were you wearing the tartan, Maria? Were you in the tartan gear?
Well, my poor mum, God rest her, and my friend's mum stayed up, and she was a seamstress mum, so we had our jeans cut at the bottom with the tartan.
Oh,
and we made teddy bears, would you believe, with tartan. So we brought them up to FIVEaa at the time, and to give them to one of the announcers there, was thinking that they were going to get directly deposited in the laps of the Bay City Rollers.
Oh, fantastic, Maria. That's a great memory. Thank you. 10 to 8.
I just got a photo sent to me, Will, from my ex-wife, and she says, look, they're driving down Grange Road. Tell Will it's a real pea super out there. There you go. So everyone's getting up here.
Seems the closer they are to the show, the more they enjoy tormenting me. I don't know what that's about. All right, let's check traffic. Thanks to the former team at Dave Potter. I say former, the award-winning and wonderful team at Dave Potter, who are now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Got a road weather alert current for the Adelaide Hills this morning. Fair bit of Felix fog around, quite thick in the hills too, and quite widespread across the suburbs, so drive with extra caution this morning. Brighton got burst water main there. Brighton Road near Jetty Road speeds at 40 k's, and Trinity Gardens expect delays. McGill Road near Portrush Road intersection upgrade works there. Speeds are down to 40 k's. Cameras on the drive-in, Black Road, Flagstaff Hill, and Grant Road at Ranella. Want to win a Volkswagen Golf GTI? Of course you do. Tune into Fox Sports OK on Saturday from 4:30 and 5 p.m. to join the race in the Golf Ad Break Championship. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Finally, you can get back to the Lion. Get back to Slow Cook Sundays. Every Sunday, the Lion's Kitchen will be roasting up a storm with an ever-evolving selection of your favourites. Lamb, beef, pork with the best crackling in town. Head to lionhotel.com.au to find out what's new on the menu.
Back to the Lion.
Get back to Sundays, perfected with slow cooked roasts. Get back to where you belong. The Lion, North Adelaide.
I'm James Wohlers. Did you realise at Wohlers we still make our own timber furniture? We offer everything from bedroom and dining, right through to living and outdoor. We can even design custom pieces just for you. From our classic Victorian antique reproductions or our everyday Havana ranges, right through to our colourful boho furniture featured on Adelaide. If you have a passion for timber like me, come and visit one of our Wohlers showrooms at Mount Barker, Richmond and Tanunda.
Sold by McGain again.
And as you well know now, it's really important to get along to these open inspections because you could miss out.
You will miss out if you don't go along. So tomorrow from 11 to 11:30, here's where you need to be with Mike Dobbin and Zoe Ball, who are opening 11 Odessa Drive, Woodcroft, 4-bedroom home. Perfect for young and growing families. It's got 2 bathrooms, 2 separate living areas, a kitchen with dishwasher, heating and cooling, undercover veranda, and a grassy yard for the kids. Just 489 to 519K.
Beautiful. And what about this? Tomorrow from 2 till 2:30 p.m, Mike and Zoe are opening 6/35 Burnham Road, Kingston Park. This stunning beachside home overlooks the water. It has a renovated kitchen and bathroom, 2 bedrooms and a large open plan living room taking full advantage of the views. Plus, how's this? A large balcony to relax and watch the sunset. Best offers by 5 p.m. on August 16.
For all the info, take a look at these properties and all the McGain listings at realestate.com.au.
For most business PC brands, a 4-hour service guarantee means they'll call you back in 4 hours. But at Leader Computers, a 4-hour service guarantee on Leader's business range means they'll come to your worksite and have you back in business in outside 4 hours. Leader computers are local, made here in Adelaide with better service, better support and speedy turnaround times. Live life local. Live life Leader. Leader Computers. Find your local dealer at leadersystems.com.au.
I don't have a favourite teacher because I've loved them all. They've taught me new things and I've always had fun in their class.
I've enjoyed learning about sports because I'm always focused.
My school is all these things and more. It's what makes it one of South Australia's leading primary schools. Hi, I'm Carl, school captain at St Andrews. Book your place in our school tours tomorrow at 10 a.m. or Tuesday the 17th of August at 9:30 a.m. Just Google St Andrews School.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 to 8, let's talk weather. Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Morning to you, Amelia.
Good morning, Will. What do you think of the weather this morning?
I think
Will.
the weather is deeply unpleasant, actually, Amelia, as it turns out.
How would you describe this morning's conditions? Let me remind you, you have signed a legally binding document.
I'd use, well, to one of my legal obligations, I'd say it was a pea super, Amelia, but the other word I'd use was torturous. It is agony. I mean, there were some words you don't usually hear associated with descriptions about the weather, but those would do it for me this morning.
Whoever put that in the bowl,
It was
that you
Andy.
had to pull out, I'm forever in your debt. I love it.
Andy with strong encouragement from me. We're all in on that
Get
one.
that morning
Lisa was in on
that
it too.
I heard you read that out loud, and I literally did a victory dance around the house. Anyway,
I'm glad. Well, look, we aim to please, Amelia.
We
So
do.
I'm glad my misery has made someone happy.
But it is off the charts foggy though, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is real Friday the 13th weather, isn't it? Got a bit of fog around this morning. It sort of rolled in the early hours. So at the airport, around after midnight, the visibility was about 50 metres. Probably about 300 metres in the past few hours. So certainly these conditions will lift. But we have seen fog everywhere from sort of Golden Grove, around the coast. Real peace super weather, and it is there is a road weather alert for the hills this morning as well, because it is reducing visibility on the road there. So if you are up in the hills this morning, make sure you drive to the conditions there. In the city today, we've got a 50-50 chance at showers during the day, and there'll be very similar conditions to yesterday. Stop-start, hit and miss, light pesky stuff. Expect them to be around, but not a great deal in the gauge. 16 degrees is the forecast top. Now, here's the other good news. The good news, of course, part one for me was you saying pea super, Will, but here's the actual good news that everyone can enjoy is we've just got a really good weekend to look forward to. Mostly sunny, 18 on Saturday and on Sunday. So two really great days to get out there and enjoy it. We could see a shower on Monday, but we'll worry about that one later. Now a great weekend ahead and pea super this morning.
Absolutely.
Yep, it's all up from here. Good on you, Amelia.
There you go.
Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News. It's time for Blakey's Wrap of the Week, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
The state's COVID vaccine rollout is being expanded to include the under 40s. From next Monday, South Australians aged 16 to 39 can book in for the Pfizer jab. Appointments will be for September and October when there's a greater supply.
I don't want to take Moderna. I don't want AstraZeneca. I'm under 40, I'm ready, it's my time. So inject me with Pfizer and come on and stick that needle in my arm. I'm young and bright. I want the Pfizer shot, 'cause I won't get no clot. No, I won't, no, I won't, no, I won't, no, I won't. That's right, oh yeah.
It's stupid. And, here's the thing. They've all been vaccinated. Isn't having the vaccine meant to end all this nonsense that we can get back to living our lives? So if they've all been vaccinated, why do they need to quarantine for 28 days?
Back in town from Tokyo, all the athletes just won't be seen. They've been in Sydney locked inside for a fortnight, but they had vaccine. So it's obvious to me that our officials are really poor. They should admit that they don't know what vaccination is really for. Olympians are forced into double quarantine. Double quarantine. SA Health is mean. It's just not fair that they should double quarantine. It's stupid that they've been put in double quarantine.
Oh, they're going to burn all the wood at KI. The plantation. Because Vicky Chapman said you can't build a wharf to get wood off the island. Anyway, they can't do it. So they said, all right, we'll pull our plantation out and we're just going to burn it all. 4.5 million tonnes of timber.
Vicky, do you understand just how sometimes you seem a little mad? Don't you know they just want to get their timber off the island? But what you made them do is sad. But I think the whole situation's no good. Oh no, please don't burn 4 million tons of wood. Just a hole where a plantation once stood. Oh no, please don't burn 4 million tons of wood.
Breaking 8 coming up, more from John Blake after 8:30.
I used to think a good day on the golf course was coming home with more than one golf ball. But my game has really stepped up thanks to Shane from Drummond Golf.
Hi Tom, how's the handicap going?
Well, I've been personally my-matched by you and I'm hitting longer, straighter and higher than I ever have before. You and your team have really got my game sorted.
We want people to love golf as much as we do. Just like we did for you, Tom, we put you through the My Match process to pick the right clubs for you. We also do lessons at the driving range and kit them out in the best gear, all aimed to reduce their handicap.
Well, it has worked a treat for me. I cannot recommend it enough. Go and see the team at Drummond Golf. Thank you again, Shane. Enfield, Darlington, Mile End, Tetra Gully and the West Beach driving range.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two in 16 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Looking for the perfect winter exercise? Physio Extra offers clinical Pilates at 6 locations. PhysioExtra.com.
There may be some financial support for Royal Show organisers after COVID forced them to pull the pin on the 2021 event. The state government says they'll consider it if the Show Society make a funding submission. Preparations were well underway at Wayville when it was announced yesterday that the event had been cancelled for the second year in a row. General Manager Michelle Hocking has told 5AA Breakfast the money lost will mean pressing pause on new site projects.
And in terms of any new infrastructure or, any new initiatives, they're just all going to sit on the back burner. It'll have to be, your basic annual things that you do just to pay the debt down, basically.
A police chase across the northern and western suburbs has ended with a man jumping into the River Torrens. It began at Elizabeth Park last night when police spotted a stolen Honda Civic, the car suspected of being involved in an earlier robbery at Davern Park. Police followed it through North Adelaide where it collided with a parked car and a fence before it was spiked at Henley Beach. At Torrensville, the driver abandoned the car and jumped into the river. The 22-year-old from Salisbury East has been charged with a range of offences and will front court today. The COVID crisis continues on the eastern seaboard. The Queensland Government is trying to fend off COVID on a number of fronts with concerns about outbreaks in New South Wales. The number of Sydney areas subject to tougher restrictions has grown to 12. A woman who gave birth at a hospital in Sydney's west has COVID-19. Meantime, the ACT is in lockdown after recording 4 COVID cases. America's top infectious disease expert says it's likely everyone will need a COVID booster shot eventually. The World Health Organization wants wealthier countries to forego the extra doses until poorer nations are able to catch up with their programs. Dr. Anthony Fauci says they're constantly reviewing the situation.
This is a dynamic process and the data will be evaluated. The one thing we are doing is we are preparing for the eventuality of doing that. So if the data shows us that in fact we do need to do that, we'll be very ready to do it and do it expeditiously.
A COVID vaccine being developed in South Australia is a step closer. The protein-based COVAX-19 shot is preparing to enter the final stages of human clinical trials. Flinders University professor Nikolai Petrovsky says it's been extensively tested on animals.
Sort of at the final hurdle now of testing how effective it is in a large number of human subjects in order to get approval to start rolling it out.
Global tensions are rising amid reports the Taliban has taken control of a 12th provincial capital in Afghanistan overnight. Insurgents have been moving at speed, seizing new territories almost daily as US and other foreign troops withdraw. Professor Greg Barton from Deakin University says thousands of fighters are entering Afghanistan to support the Taliban, presenting a risk to the world.
The foreign fighters who come to join them or work directly with Al-Qaeda, which is a close partner of the Taliban, won't be concerned about Afghanistan per se. They'll be concerned about getting training and going back home and carrying on their struggle around the world.
Australia's newest multi-millionaire is yet to come forward and claim their winnings. A single entry won last night's entire $80 million Powerball jackpot. The ticket comes from Victoria. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $400 on selected ASCO dishwashers at Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Port Adelaide and the Crows will hit the training track this morning as they prepare for their round 22 matches. The Power host Carlton tomorrow and are close to full strength with Sam Powell-Pepper dropped for the match. To soccer, a great result for Ange Postecoglou's Celtic after they recorded a 3-0 win against Czech side Jablonec in their quest to qualify for the Europa League. They now only need to win one more match to make it through. Meantime, the English Premier League gets underway in less than 24 hours. The first match will see Brentford coming up against Arsenal. To tennis, James Duckworth will take on Daniil Medvedev later this morning at the Toronto Masters. Earlier this morning, there were wins for Stefanos Tsitsipas and John Isner. Play has been suspended in the opening round of the Wyndham Golf Championships in North Carolina. American Russell Henley leads the way at 8 under, while Adam Scott is the best of the Aussies, 4 shots back. One game in the NRL overnight with the Melbourne Storm recording a 26 to 16 point win against the Canberra Raiders. That now makes it 18 wins in a row. And finally, there's a special game in the Major League Baseball this morning. A Kane Field in Iowa will host the game between the New York Yankees and Chicago White Sox. The game is a living tribute to the iconic 1989 film Field of Dreams that starred Kevin Costner.
It's just like a perfect field, and to see this thing really captured the hearts of America, this film. Nobody saw it coming. I knew it was a great film. I knew it was written beautifully, but nobody, saw this coming. And to see what's happened here, is fantastic.
Gotta love Kevin Costner. Mel, build it and they will come.
Thank you, Tom. I think I've heard those words before. Now checking 5AA traffic.
Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Got a road weather alert for the Adelaide Hills this morning. Very thick fog in the hills and quite widespread across the suburbs. Drive with caution. Brighton Burst Watermain, Brighton Road near Jetty Road, speeds down to 40 k's. Northfield this morning, expect delays. Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works, down to one lane both directions, speeds are 25 k's. And look out for cameras, Grant Road, Ranella, Majors Road, O'Halloran Hill, and Phillip Highway at Elizabeth South. Build your new home with Rivergum Homes and get $25,000 of in-demand premium upgrades for no extra cost. Details at rivergumhomes.com.au. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
A shower or two today, 16. Mostly sunny tomorrow, 18. Sunday, much the same, also 18. Right now, it's 11 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Shh. Can you hear that? Hang on. Here it comes. The new Kia Niro has landed. Available as a hybrid, plug-in hybrid and full electric. It's Australia's broadest electric SUV range, and they're all available for immediate delivery. Technology moves fast. Meet 3 ways to catch up. The new Kia Niro electric SUV range. Check with your local Kia dealer for details.
Kia, movement that inspires.
So, Will, there's nothing like a good steak dinner. Tell us again, how do you like yours? You're a medium rare guy, aren't you?
I'm generally a medium rare guy, but I'll be led by the expert, the chef. What does he think?
Yeah.
Does it need a little bit more? Is there marbling? Does it need to be broken down a little bit more?
I had a superb...
Bloody as hell.
I went to Jarman's.
I'll have a bloody as hell.
I went to Jarman's last night. I should say happy birthday, Pedro, you old bugger. I had a 8-hour cooked Scotch fillet that had been done in one of the smokers.
Please.
Superb. But we're here to talk about the fantastic people at Meat at the Mount. Now, if you're a meat enthusiast, these guys, this is an absolute ornament to the produce of the Fleurieu. Meat at the Mount, they're bringing butcher's choice meats to your door for you to cook your way.
Absolutely right. They've got that prime black Angus finished for 100 days, marbled for juicy, tender flavour.
And for Father's Day, how's this for innovation? They've got a gift box going on sale next week, and it's going to knock Dad's socks off.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's all sorted too. So if you want to guarantee a great night in, they've got Dad's wine pairings covered. They've got the Scotch fillet sorted for you. You can get SA olive oil there, a rack of lamb. Oh, please. You can just about hear it sizzling on the grill,
Makes me
Dave.
hungry, actually.
Yeah, thank you very much.
That's right. And look, maybe Dad will be nice enough to share. Pre-order from meatatthemount.com.au from August the 9th for delivery the weekend of Father's Day.
We keep up to date.
Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
9 after 8, breaking at 8 is coming up in just a moment. Orazio Fantasia shortly thereafter from the Port Adelaide Football Club. They win this week. They're top 4, Port. It's all fallen into place. The side has fallen into place. Look at the team they picked last night. Sam Powell-Pepper got squeezed out. Like, you've got to be on and informed to be playing this Port side at the moment. Orazio is. We'll be chatting with him in about 10 minutes' time. Then Ryan Fitzgerald after 8:30.
Breaking at 8 time.
All right, let's do it.
Deploy the sound effects. Hey, 2 pretty massive breaking at 8s. We understand that the former Transport Minister, Stefan Knoll, has just been found guilty of misconduct under the ICAC Act. Now, this is as a result of an investigation by the Ombudsman at the request of the Independent Commission Against Corruption. Now, Mr. Knoll has already announced he's not going to be running again for his Barossa Valley seat. This might help explain why. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the country members' allowance scandal.
Right.
Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. It arises from his time as minister when he had carriage of the Adelaide Cemeteries Authority, and the Ombudsman writes that in connection with the attempted removal of individuals from the board of the Adelaide Cemeteries Authority on the 5th of July 2019, then Minister Knoll committed misconduct in public administration for the purposes of Section 5(3)(a) of the ICAC Act. There were 2 other allegations that he was found not guilty of, that he did not commit misconduct, but on this specific issue, about which I have no background knowledge.
So what is the suggestion is
the attempted removal? He tried to get people off the board wrongly. It was regarded by the Ombudsman as misconduct in public administration. Now, the politics of this are going to be interesting. I think the Libs will try to say, well, he's not running again. Nothing to do with us. He's still a member of Parliament, though. And apparently the Liberals, there was some sort of Supreme Court attempt going on in the background to stop this from coming to a head. I'm not 100% on that, but what I am 100% on is that he's been found guilty of misconduct. The other thing, and I'll tell you what, this is going to shine a light on one of the more unpleasant aspects of public administration in this state for a while. My understanding is that within the next few days, the Adelaide City Council is going to be releasing the independent report that they commissioned by that law firm at a cost to ratepayers of $100,000, if you don't mind, into cultural problems at the Adelaide City Council. Now, my understanding is that the report will not name any individual or individuals who are councillors in terms of their allegedly shocking behaviour towards staff. But what I do know is a few things. The law firm that was entrusted with doing this investigation into the council's culture, it interviewed a whole bunch of staff who have regular contact with elected members, and they polled them on a bunch of questions. These are some of the results. Guess how many respondents of the staff members agree or strongly agree that they are embarrassed by the behaviour of elected members towards each other?
Oh, is it a majority?
Well, it certainly is a majority. 100%.
100% of staff are embarrassed by the conduct of councillors.
Yep. I'll give you another one. Guess how many respondents agree or strongly agree that they have witnessed a colleague being subject to harassing behaviours or unreasonable questioning by some elected members in the last 12 months?
Surely it's not 100%.
It's 100%.
There's not 100% of people who agree that there is a pandemic.
Well, 100%.
Like, you can't get 100% of people to agree on anything.
100% of staff at the Adelaide City Council think that about the elected members.
Oh, my word.
Then what about this? 68% of respondents somewhat agree, or strongly agree that there are elected members whose conduct would cause them to resign from the council within the next 3 years. And further, 56% of respondents somewhat agree, or strongly agree that they would discourage others from applying to work with the council because of the behaviour of elected members.
Well, that doesn't speak to a particularly functional culture, does it?
It's
so
extraordinary.
2/3 of people want to leave, and more than half would tell other people not to apply.
And all of them have been hassled by elected members. And it goes into
That's
the
damning.
nature of that harassment. And anyway, as I was saying, I haven't got my hands on the entire thing, but it's pretty solid mail, and it's going to make for pretty damning reading. It confirms a lot of the criticisms that have been made of the way people have been behaving there.
15 minutes after 8, Orazio Fantasia in a moment. We'll check traffic quickly first. Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and our Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
Got a road weather alert for the Adelaide Hills this morning. Very thick fog in the hills and quite widespread across the suburbs. Brighton got a burst water main this morning. Brighton Road near Jetty Road speeds down to 40 k's. Northfield expect delays. Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works. Down to one lane, pretty slow going. Speeds down to 25 too. Busy on the drive in, Sir Donald Bradman Drive, Bagot Street to South Road, and cameras Dyson Road, Christie's Beach, and Haydown Road at Elizabeth Grove. Save on four-wheel drive gear this weekend at Anaconda. Austrail 80-litre fridge freezer just $699. Ends Sunday at Anaconda. Play more, pay less. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie Sport Show.
It's a tough one, this one, Rory, but you are the captain. I feel I can ask this. I just get a read that there's an appetite for Tex not to be there next year.
No, I haven't felt that. No. My personal opinion, I don't want to come to that.
4 p.m. weekdays.
There's still a lot to play out, and this is obviously a very unique situation where there's a lot of people involved. It's not just about one person, it's about a whole footy club. We create an environment that we want everyone to feel part of.
Rowie Sport Show on 5AA.
We keep up to date with the renting legislation, so you don't have to. Hi, Susanna Toop here from Toop and Toop. As COVID-19 continues to impact everyone in our community, what is needed now more than ever is clarity. At Toop and Toop, we've opened up our weekly real estate radio show, so you can get expert advice at any time. Give us a call on 8362 8888 or go to toop.com.au/landlord advice. We're here to support you if you have any questions.
Hi, I'm a nurse in a public hospital. I see ambulances ramped and my emergency department overcrowded. I see patients suffering as they wait for a bed. And what's Premier Stephen Marshall's solution? Well, nurses' jobs have been made redundant. And now the Liberals want to spend $660 million of our money on a basketball stadium, rather than fixing our broken health system. Stephen Marshall's priorities are wrong.
Authorised by R. Martin, Australian Labor Party, Adelaide.
Now, we all love free stuff.
Oh, yes.
Some people really love free stuff.
Yeah.
We've just received a message from James Wallace.
Oh, what's he done now?
A free gift with purchase.
Oh,
how about
you're
this?
kidding.
James Wallace, the most generous man in home furnishings. It's an offer that's available this weekend.
Now, this is serious. I've got serious concerns about James and his grasp on things, because they're giving gifts away for things that are already discounted. But, you know, it's just the way he rolls. And look, I've got to say, personally, I love it when Wallers do things like this, especially Will, and I know you do too, when there's fragrances involved.
We're big fragrance guys.
We are.
We don't talk about it a lot.
We don't.
But you'll smell it if
We're
you
into
walk
it.
past us. Now, you've got your choice of a free Main Beach lavender body wash.
That is quality.
If you want to smell like David Penberthy, get yourself a Main Beach lavender body wash. hand cream or mousse, valued at $29.95 when you spend $50 in homewares.
That's right. Who's the moussiest mousse we know? Now, did James do maths at school? You can spend $50 on whatever you want in homewares, and on top, he'll throw in a gift valued at nearly $30.
Yeah,
that
that's
doesn't make
right.
any sense.
That's right. He finds making money boring these days,
right.
Joe. He was just interested in doing other stuff.
More of a charity now these days.
It's not all James. His sister Rachel, she's known to come up with the wackiest offers.
Yep.
So it's probably a joint family effort to almost bankrupt the business so that the people go in there have a good time.
But the good news is you folks are the winners. Either way, head into Wohlers this weekend. The offer starts at 9 a.m. tomorrow and ends 5 p.m. Sunday or while stocks last. Wohlers, Mount Barker, Richmond and Tanunda.
You can't go past the IGA Big Deal Sale for great specials right across the store. Like Arnott's Tim Tam chocolate biscuits, 160 to 200 gram selected varieties, $2 each, half price. Now at your local IGA. Offer ends August 17. Participating stores only, excludes Foodland.
Get more at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen with great deals on demos right across the range, all ready to drive away. And if you're impressed with our selection of cars, you'll love our service department with next day servicing, complimentary loan cars and breakfast or lunch on us. Why? Because when you're Adelaide's newest Volkswagen dealer, you want to give more. Visit mawsonlakesvw.com.au to see the range online. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
20 after 8.
Orazio Fantasia. Intercepted almost by Orazio Fantasia. Orazio Fantasia. Orazio Fantasia. Orazio Fantasia. Orazio. Oh, ho, ho, it's magic.
It's time for the man. Thanks to Puritap, you can get one from $49 up front on a payment plan. T's and C's at puritap.com.au. Port beat Carlton this weekend. Guaranteed top 4 finish. Orazio, good morning to you. You ever finished top 4 before?
Morning, guys. No, I haven't. I think the best I finished was 8th. So, and the 2 finals I played, we lost by a fair bit. So it'd be nice to finish in the top 4, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's everything to play for, and you guys are pretty much there, but and up against Carlton, so it's all right there in front of you.
Yeah, it's definitely in our own hands, but as you saw last week, guys, you know, if you're off by a little bit, any team's going to beat you, and obviously they're showdowns, they're big games, but if you're off by a little margin, you know, in contested possession, stuff like that around the footy, then teams can get a run on, and it's tough to come back from.
Got to say, generally like seeing you kick goals, Orazio, but I thought it was a real pity that you kicked just that one last week. If you kicked one less goal, it would have been a happier night for us.
Sorry, I'll apologise to you, but that's it.
Hey, it's getting tough. You got to really justify your spot down there at Port Adelaide at the moment. We've spoken to you in previous weeks about how it looks like things are coming right fitness-wise at the end of the year for guys, and you're included in that. But Sam Powell-Pepper got squeezed out when the team was announced last night. Is he a bit unlucky?
Yeah, definitely. I think he's been playing well, and he's obviously playing in that forward line as well, which is, as you said, it's tough. We've got Mott coming back this weekend as well. He's playing some SANFL footy, so, you know, although it's difficult for guys missing out, it's really good for us because, you know, as you said, there's pressure on spots, but it means you've got to play well. It means the team's going to be in form. And if you're not playing well, then the next guy's going to come in. You know, so there's no guarantees, which is a good thing, I think.
So going towards the finals, I mean, clearly Port are going to be there in some shape or form. Are you trying to sort of quarantine well, I shouldn't use that word in the current climate. You're trying to sort of avoid discussions about the finals part of it? Like, is it still just 100% focus on, you know, minor round games and just doing as best you can before the finals start?
Yeah, definitely. And I know you probably don't want this answer, and it's cliche, and I understand that, but that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
You know, you can't be thinking about what's going on then, because if you falter and you slip up with what's in front of you now, then, you know, you might finish 6th, and then it makes it even tougher, you know. So as I said, it's cliche, but 1 week at a time we focus on Carlton, and if we can win that, we put ourselves in a good position again, and then we've got the doggies. So, if we can keep playing some good footy, then that's all that matters.
I know your eyes are firmly fixed on finals, and that's your focus at the moment because you're in just a fantastic spot in that sense for your own careers. But it must have been pretty exciting around the club yesterday with the news that Port would get the AFLW side. What was the reaction in the playing group to that?
Yeah, massive. We also just said, well, now we need some more change rooms. Where are we going to fit everyone? We need to get that expansion going. So I think we told Tommy Jonas to get on to Stephen Marshall and just give us a grant and get us going.
So hang on a second. So Tom Jonas has got the direct link to the Premier, does he?
No, he doesn't. It just he might though. You never know.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I thought there might be just a sort of a teal-coloured phone that he can pick up, and it's directly the Premier answers at the other end.
Yeah.
Well, we might have to get one actually. Put it in the club with his personal just speed dial. But no, it's obviously awesome that now it's whole basically the whole. AFL, every AFL team has an AFLW team, so that's pretty exciting, I think, not just for us personally, but for the entire league and all the girls coming through that want to play footy.
It's one of those things, I reckon, like, you absolutely need one these days because, and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck about the Crows, but, go to that women's grand final when they thought, hopefully we'll get 20,000. That was actually genuinely moving being there that day and seeing it crack 50. It was like, my God, this is real.
Yeah, it's massive. It's got a huge support, and it's only fair that everyone's equal in playing that game. And 50,000, that's a big crowd for any game of footy. I don't think I played in a sample premiership that we had 50,000 at there. So there's a huge following behind it, which is great.
You're playing a side in the AFL this week, under siege in Carlton. Does it not make you nervous is wrong because Carlton are in all sorts at the moment. But when there's conjecture over the future of a coach, you can sometimes galvanise a team and they produce a performance out of the box. Are you wary that there might be a everyone playing for their lives sort of element to the clash this weekend?
Not really. I don't think we've discussed that as such, like that direct point. But as I said earlier, it doesn't matter who you're playing. Carlton have good players. Yes, understand. There's a few players out, McKay and Liam Jones, which hurts them a little bit. But, they're still quality players. And if we're off and we're not, and we think we're just going to roll in and win the game, it doesn't normally happen. So, we have to be on from the get-go and really come out. And I think we want to sort of, I don't think respond's the right word, but, put in a good performance because, we were pretty upset with how we sort of played the first half last week. And we responded in the second half, but I think we'd like to put in a better performance this week, that's for sure.
Yeah, Mark Murphy's 300, so they've got a couple of reasons, a positive reason too, to be up and about.
Yeah.
Ratio, good to speak to you, mate.
Good on you, mate.
All the best for the weekend.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, Ratio.
Ratio Fantasia, thanks to Puretap. You can get one from $49 up front on a payment plan. T's and C's at puretap.com.au.
I know that players never say this, but Port are a lock for the top four. They're not making the four. They're 2 games clear of Brisbane.
Yeah. Well, they could lose the last 2 games and Brisbane could win the last 2 games.
That's not going to happen.
Not when they're playing Carlton this weekend.
No.
And I think I have Port's favourites by 1,000.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, we're going to take a break. 5AA News is coming up, then Ryan Fitzgerald.
I don't have a favourite teacher because I've loved them all. They've taught me new things and I've always had fun in their class.
St Andrew's School is a place where I can learn. I've enjoyed learning about sports because I'm always focused.
My school is all these things and more. It's what makes it one of South Australia's leading primary schools. Hi, I'm Carl, school captain at St Andrews. Book your place in our school tours tomorrow at 10 a.m. or Tuesday the 17th of August at 9:30 a.m. Just Google St Andrews School.
To create a high-performance machine, equal parts art and automobile, that was the brief. Lauded and awarded like any masterpiece. There's always critics. But with 15 premium Harman Kardon speakers and the new bimodal exhaust, it's kinda hard to hear them. The new Kia Stinger.
Kia, movement that inspires.
Do you think a concert pianist needs a builder's license? No.
Does a chartered accountant need one? Nah. Okay, then what about a house inspector? This will surprise you. Right now, there are no regulations in the industry that say you must be a builder to become a house inspector. Mike Pearl from House Inspect Australia is a third-generation licensed builder, and his team is the most qualified team in Australia for house inspections. It's the biggest purchase decision of your life. Don't risk it. Go to houseinspectaustralia.com.au.
Now, you know we love the Central Market. We were talking about it earlier.
Yep.
We love the
You were
Central
in there
Market.
the other day.
Exactly right. Oh, my God, I ate so much cheese that night. It was unbelievable. And the other thing we love doing is supporting local. And if you can put on some weight while supporting local, well, that seems to me to be the best of both worlds.
That's right. That's the way to do it, folks. The Adelaide Central Market is a collective of 70 traders, suppliers, growers and producers, all working together to bring you the best and freshest produce available.
From fruit and veg, seafood, meat, bread and milk to world-class cheese, continental, even take-home meals, it's all at your fingertips. You can also stay and enjoy a meal or a coffee with market dining back to 75% capacity, so you'll get in. And if you can't get to the market, well, you can still be included in the fun. Simply order your favourite market goodies online for contactless home delivery every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday.
They've just redone their website and it profiles all of the different stall holders and you can do all your shopping online now. It's great, but nothing beats getting in there. And particularly, as Will said, stick around, have some food. We can do that now. Back to 75%. Just get into the Adelaide Central Market, open Tuesday to Saturday. For more info, visit adelaidecentralmarket.com.au.
There's never been a more important time to protect your family's future. So start by making a will. Maurice Blackburn's My Life Wills online service provides legally valid wills written by expert lawyers for a fixed price. Get started from the comfort and convenience of your own home. To protect your loved ones, head to mauriceblackburn.com.au/create-my-will today.
Conditions apply.
You don't have to be rich to enjoy $1 million views over breakfast. Just take a seat on the deck at the Birkenhead Tavern. Enjoy breakfast every weekend just how you like it. Eggs and bacon, eggs Benedict, croissants, fresh coffee or orange juice. All whilst taking in the magnificent views only the Birk deck can offer. Make the most of every weekend. Start with brekkie on the deck at the Birkenhead Tavern, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. You just know it's a Barrow Hotel.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A shower or two in 16 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Trust Physio Extra. Norwood, Puri Street, Marion, Hallicove, Seaford and Victor Harbour. PhysioExtra.com.
Victoria is reporting another 15 COVID cases today. 7 were in the community while infectious. 4 are not yet linked to known outbreaks. Royal Show organisers could be in line for financial support as COVID forces the event to be shelved for the second year in a row. The Treasurer is encouraging the Show Society to make a funding submission. Ride operator Amanda Watkins was already setting up at Wayville with the opening just weeks away.
We travelled 2,800 kilometres from middle of North Queensland to get here. We transported all of our amusement rides here.
A man has been arrested after jumping into the Torrens to evade police. Patrol spotted a stolen Honda Civic on Main North Road at Elizabeth Park last night, but the driver sped off, leading them on a chase to North Adelaide. Senior Constable Peter Schultz says he collided with a parked car on Melbourne Street and a fence before driving off.
Patrol successfully spiked the car on Seaview Road at Henley Beach. The pursuit did come to an end when the Honda collided with a large rock on River Road at Torrensville. The driver abandoned the car and he jumped into the River Torrens. However, I think it was a bit fresh for him and he quickly surrendered himself to police and he was arrested without incident.
The 22-year-old from Salisbury East has been charged with driving dangerously to escape a police pursuit, failing to stop and other offences. He'll face court today. Someone in Victoria is $80 million richer today. They were the only Div 1 winner in last night's Powerball. Mark Hart from The Lot says their identity remains a mystery at this stage.
I was standing by last night ready to, make a call that someone might really like to get, and but sadly did not have the complete details. So someone could be waking up, they're perhaps starting work, and they may just be completely oblivious they're $80 million richer.
A major telco is struggling to stay on top of a recent spike in scam calls and text messages. People are receiving messages saying they have a missed call, which includes a suspicious link. Telstra's Andrew Penn says they're trying to block the scams, but new ones keep popping up.
We effectively are constantly monitoring the network to try and identify traffic which is malicious We then identify its source, we confirm it's malicious, and then we block the source to protect our customers. But as quickly as we do that, there is more activity.
It's Red Nose Day. There's been a 20% increase in sudden infant death in Australia in the past year. Red Nose Australia's Karen Lutsky says they're aiming to raise $700,000.
Fund research into the reasons why these babies are still dying suddenly and unexpectedly, and also delivering prevention and education messages to new parents to help keep their babies safe.
A slice of Charles and Diana's 40-year-old wedding cake has sold at auction for close to $3,500. The slice was from one of 23 official wedding cakes the royal couple served and features a marzipan base with a sugared onlay of the royal coat of arms coloured in gold, red, blue and silver. Auctioneers have advised the buyer not to eat the cake. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
Save up to $800 on selected Asco washer-dryer packages. Adelaide Appliance Gallery, home of Mr Dishwasher.
Here's Tom Wren.
Sounds like pretty good advice to me, Mel. Let's start with footy. Port Adelaide has its destiny in its own hands for a top 4 finish when it takes on Carlton tomorrow at Adelaide Oval. A win would secure the power, the double chance, and keeps their hopes alive for a top 2 finish. Forward, Orazio Fantasia telling David and Will it's something he's never experienced before.
I think the best I finished was 8th. So, and the 2 finals I played, we lost by a fair bit. So it'd be nice to finish in the top 4, that's for sure.
The Crows will also train later today before trimming their squad a little bit later this afternoon ahead of Sunday's match against Melbourne at the MCG. Ruckman Kieran Strachan is set to play only his second AFL game with Riley O'Brien out with a knee injury, while Lockie Golland is a chance to make his debut. Still on footy, and an extensive review is recommending Tasmania get both an AFL and AFLW team with 3 options on the table. They are a 19th licence, a relocated team, or a joint venture with a Melbourne-based club playing most or all of its home games in Tasmania. But no timeline has been set. Win Sports reporter Brent Costello says it looks as though games will be split between the north and south.
All along, the AFL Task Force will recommended that it be based in Hobart, but the bigger games will be played, and the blockbuster games will be played in Launceston.
In soccer now, Chelsea has welcomed Romelu Lukaku back to London, agreeing to a near £100 million deal with Inter Milan. But there's still no deal done for Harry Kane, who wants to leave Tottenham to join Manchester City. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Opening soon, the award-winning team at Dave Potter and now Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
At Payneham, got a smash on Portrush Road near Marion Road. Road weather alert for the Adelaide Hills this morning. Thick fog in the hills and quite widespread across the suburbs. Brighton got a burst water main. Brighton Road near Jetty Road, speeds at 40 k's. And Northfield expect delays on Grand Junction Road near Hampstead Road for works. It's down to 1 lane both directions. Pretty slow going too, down to 25 k's. Love your lunch with a Porto. Chicken salad, Bondi burger meal deal or chicken wrapper meal deal, just $9.95 each. Only at a Porto. Available before 4 p.m 'in store or takeaway only. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Audi Solitaire, Metro Dealer of the Year. Visit audisolitaire.com.au.
16 for your Friday with a shower or 2, then mostly sunny tomorrow 18 and the same again on Sunday. Right now it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 9, minute double barrel breaking at 8 this morning. The first issue related to a finding of an Ombudsman's report into misconduct by former Marshall Government Minister Stefan Knoll. He's just texted in to the program with an official statement. I'll read it out. It's his reply to that reporting. He says the Ombudsman's report found I acted swiftly and appropriately once the administrative error was identified and immediately steps were taken to correct it. A minor procedural mistake was made and I fixed it straight away. The decision sets the bar so low that almost any inadvertent ministerial error with no adverse consequences could be seen as misconduct. I stand by my decision to appoint a new skills-based board that has now been in place for more than 18 months and have been proven to be excellent and successful appointments. He says point 96 of the report also finds it's not serious.
There's a piece about it up on the Tizer now as well. You can get more about the story on the on their website, and there'll probably be more to come on it throughout the day. here on 5AA News.
All right, it's 23 minutes to 9 and time for Fuel Watch, thanks to the opening soon award-winning team at Dave Potter, who are becoming Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW. If you're out and about this morning, $1.43 is considered cheap at the moment. Coles Express next to Victoria Park, $1.37 at the corner of Brighton Road and Sturt Road, $1.38 on the Salisbury Highway in Parafield Gardens, and $1.33 in Seaford on Commercial Road and Griffiths Drive. And Lucy, in putting together Fuel Watch this morning, tried to trap me into saying pea super.
Well, you just did.
I artfully avoided until I just outed myself.
Yes, you said it.
22 minutes to 9. It's time for Rod Fitzgerald, Trust House Inspect Australia, the most qualified team in Australia for house inspections. Search House Inspect Australia. What do you, Fitzy?
Sweet goodness, Pembo. How are you, boys?
Mate, we're good.
Hey, how are you going, mate? We got sent an article a short time ago. In fact, who's written this? The Daily Mail. You sporting a new look or something?
Oh, God, huge news at the Daily Mail.
Oh, I know. I was front page news.
I'm a bit worried, Fitzy. Normally you appear in the Daily Mail because you've been, decided to have a sex change or something like that.
Well, I got papped down at Portnalunga Beach last year. I'm thinking, as a paparazzi, right, I understand everyone's doing it pretty tough, but when you get assigned to go down and get a couple of shots with Fitzy jumping off the jetty, I know, fair enough, I am probably the best suey artist in the world, but I don't think it's Daily Mail material.
Well, I suppose with international travel banned, it's not like they can knock around, Monaco looking for members of the royal family, mate. You're about as good as it gets.
Well, you know what? And what it was Fitzy doesn't. The headline was Fitzy doesn't look like this anymore. And I went, yeah, fair enough. I'm 44 now. We all age. I understand, but I've just taken the beard off. The comments were just amazing as well. Who's this? Who cares? The bloke's just had a shave. And I think it was my mum commenting.
Did you have an ISO beard, mate?
Yeah, I got bored, and I really enjoyed it, Pembo. You know what? There's things that you find out about yourself. I look better with a hat on when I wear a beard, I find. You look better with a flannelette shirt on, Pembo, I found.
Yeah, you look like a craft beer enthusiast, wouldn't you?
You do. You look like a trucker, and I really like that look, you know what I mean?
Like you should be standing there for 14 hours staring at a brisket.
Yeah, exactly. Out in the backyard having a couple of beers and just getting the brisket together, and I love that look, but it just got too much and it's gone now. But if you would like to read about it, go to the Daily Mail.
No news item too inconsequential. That's their promise. Hey, mate, we're talking about music. You'd be a rich vein in terms of gigs. Can you remember your very first gig?
Well, we grew up, and Pembo, you knew how thriving the music scene was in Adelaide in the 90s. With all the punk bands that we used to go see with Where's the Pope, Market Kane, all the Bearded Clams, Numbskulls were great, but that wasn't my first ever gig. I remember it distinctly because my mother got up and danced at it, and I was so embarrassed. But it was John Farnham, the Whispering Jack tour, 1985 at the Barton Theatre.
The Barton Theatre.
The Barton. And,
Whispering Jack.
And I remember, Mum was there with her best friends, Jenny Oborn, and also Jill Carter was there, and we're all having a good time. And then Mum got up and started dancing. I said, "What are you doing? Take the pressure down, Mum." It's Johnny Farnham, and I remember I was so embarrassed. But yeah, that was peak Farnham, the Whispering Jack tour.
Still the most highest selling album in Australia, I think.
It was. Yeah, he was unbelievable. Why was it Whispering Jack when his name was John?
No idea. Maybe it was like his alter ego.
Yeah, it could have been his alter ego.
Ziggy Stardust, only.
Yeah. What was yours, Pembo?
No, I just
Can
performed.
you remember your first?
No, my first gig.
No,
I think you asked me what was my stage name.
What was your alter ego?
El Guapo.
What's your opinion piece with your alter ego in the paper?
No, I've got a long list of first gigs that I wasn't allowed to attend by my parents. I wasn't allowed to go to the Kiss concert in 1980, and I wasn't allowed to go to the David Bowie Let's Dance tour either.
He confessed earlier, Fitz, he was all prepared to go dressed up to that Kiss concert too. Had all the get-up.
Oh, mate, the Kiss army was huge. It was massive.
Were you a member?
I wasn't a member. I was too young. The other one that I heard that I would have loved to have gone to was AC/DC at Globe Derby.
Oh, yeah.
Mate,
we had a few texts about that. We had a lot of texts about Led Zepp as well. Apparently that Led Zepp concert was just like a completely lawless shambles, and everyone who was there said it was the greatest moment of their life.
I was also there for Bon Jovi at the Adelaide Grand Prix. I remember that one. That was 200,000 people on the straight.
That was sort of around slippery when wet, wasn't it?
What was yours, Goody? What did you have?
Well, I had to confess, my first series of gigs would have been my first year at Flinders University, and I don't remember any of that year. So it was definitely something at the uni bar. And I don't know. They may be the biggest band in the world today, but I just don't remember it.
Yeah, the O-Balls were pretty big there. I remember Mark Kane played there quite a bit, but I remember Adelaide Uni, we couldn't get into a regurgitator gig, so we scaled the back of the university walls and got up onto the roof and watched it from the roof.
Really?
A mate of mine fell down, broke a few legs, but it was it was worth it.
Oh, no.
They were the days.
I saw Tism at Adelaide Uni, and that night I was going for a Euros with some mates at about 3 o'clock in the morning in Hindley Street, and this guy walked towards us, and we worked out it was the lead singer, Ron Hitler Barassi, unmasked.
Was it really?
And he was going to the casino.
You didn't want to know who they were, though. That was the thing with Tism.
Oh, yeah.
What did that stand for? This is Serious Mum?
This is Serious Mum.
Mum, yeah.
One of the greatest Australian lyrics of all time. I saw him there in Deathly Throes, and I said, I'll have one of those. Hey, we should do the tips, mate.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Tonight, GWS and the Tigers.
This is going to be a belter of a game because both of these teams still have a chance of playing finals. I'm going to go the Tigers. Giants played really well against Geelong last week, but I think the Tigers might come back with a bit of form.
Yep. Hawks, Dogs.
Yeah, I'll go the Bulldogs to win that game pretty easy.
Power, Carlton.
Power, Carlton. Yeah, look, Power will win that one easy. They're beating the bottom 8 teams pretty easy. But Carlton has still got a chance. Have they got a chance of making finals, or are they definitely out
they're
now?
Cooked.
No, they're out. Yeah, go Port Adelaide.
Then Cats and the Saints.
Cats will beat St Kilda in that game.
Brisbane, Collingwood.
I'm going to go Brisbane to win that game.
North Melbourne, Sydney.
Now, this is going to be an upset. This is my upset. If you're behind in your tipping, I got this theory, right, that Sydney were playing really, really well because they were away from their families. I don't know why I think this, but now they've caught up with their families. It does change the dynamic a little bit. I know this is really bad to say, but they lost last weekend. I think they'll lose to North Melbourne this week.
A bit distracted by domestic
other
life.
Things.
Yes, and Crows paying $9.20 to do the double and beat Melbourne again.
Absolutely no chance. We have done it before, but no chance against the D's.
Gold Coast, Essendon.
I'm going to go Essendon. They're playing good footy.
And the Derby, as they call it over there in Perth, Freo West Coast.
Yeah, I'll go the Eagles to win that game, boys.
Good stuff, mate.
Good on you, lads. Have a great weekend.
You too, Fitzy.
Trust House Inspect Australia, the most qualified team in Australia for house inspection. Search House Inspect Australia. Time to check traffic, thanks to the opening soon award-winning team at Dave Potter, becoming Glenelg BMW, Adelaide's newest home for BMW.
A few collisions to look out for this morning on the drive in, including one at One Tree Hill, Yorktown Road and Blacktop Road. Aldinga, another crash there, Main South Road at Aldinga Beach Road, and look out for one at Payneham, Portrush Road near Marion Road. Got a road weather alert this morning for Adelaide Hills, very thick fog in the hills and quite widespread across the suburbs this morning. Also thick fog around the Days Road area, that's on the north-south motorway. Want to win a Volkswagen Golf GTI? Of course you do. Tune into Fox Sports or KO on Saturday from 4:30 and 5 p.m. to join the race in the Golf Ad Break Championship. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Building amazing homes is important to Beechwood Homes, and so is the environment. So when you build with Beechwood, you're building a better environment for our kids and grandkids. Around 70% of scrap materials from every Beechwood home is recycled. Bricks, rubble, timber, gyprock and steel, none of it goes to landfill. It's all sorted and recycled. So life really is good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Take a look at the stunning Beechwood display home in Blackwood Park.
Hi, I'm Izzy and my family runs St. Louis Home Care, which was started by my great-grandma 75 years ago. I wanted to introduce you to Deb. a carer and our receptionist. She's great.
Hi, Izzy.
Deb, you've been at St. Louis for 10 years. What do you love about it?
Oh, it's a great family-friendly environment and everyone's happy.
That's because St. Louis got them covered.
With everything from shopping and meals to gardening and home maintenance.
And don't forget the social activities. Google St. Louis Home Care to find out how my family can help take care of yours.
Dr. Greg Keane explains how SportsMed puts patients first every day.
SportsMed is different. We have a clinic and hospital with specialists, doctors, physios and podiatrists all together in one location. There's also pathology, radiology, pharmacy and a cafe. This makes life easier for our patients because their appointments can all happen right here. It also lets us diagnose issues quickly, leading to high quality, cost-effective care.
And their patients love it. SportsMed.
Start living life again with our expert help.
Sportsmed.com.au.
History. We all have it. At Steinborner Automotive, we're proud of our Holden heritage. That's why at Steinborner Automotive, we're here for you. So when it's time to trade in your Holden for a new or quality used car, we have a $1,000 trade-in bonus. That's right, $1,000 trade-in bonus when you purchase any new or demo Hyundai, Mitsubishi, Ford or quality used car. And we have over 350 used cars available. Write the next chapter of your driving history with Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Foodland's owned by South Australian families like mine. Like our second home, we ensure our stores are safe. Great families, great locals and great food lives here.
Foodland, the mighty South Aussies, yeah!
It doesn't matter what level you're at, from beginner to expert, the incredible team at Drummond Golf just love talking golf. Here's Shane from Drummond Golf.
G'day, Rowie.
Shane, is there anything you guys don't do?
We do the lot, from fitting you to the exact clubs best suited to your game and style of play. So you can also look the part. We've got plenty of clothing and we've got all the accessories to go with it.
Now, you guys have the best accessories. Seriously, it's like a golfer's wonderland down there. All the famous brands, and you also do lessons.
Absolutely. We'll get your handicap down. And don't forget, our driving range is there to hone your skills 7 days a week.
You're a legend, Shane. See Shane and the team at Drummond Golf, Enfield, Darlington, Mile End, Tea Tree Gully and the West Beach driving range.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
10 to 9. So just looking at the weather over the weekend, back-to-back days of 18 degrees, light winds Saturday, light winds mostly for Sunday. There's a sneaky little bit of Barbie chance this weekend, isn't there?
For sure.
This
it's
is like
be beautiful.
Winter Barbie sort of ideal weather. Great
Perfect
weekend
Barbie weather
to go into with a meat tray in your back pocket.
You can still have an open fire too.
Absolutely. Thanks to Dane and Harry at Blackwood Country Meats. They offer premium quality meats as well as a fine selection of handcrafted small goods and sausages. 248 Main Road, Blackwood. Will be giving away the meat tray just before 9 o'clock.
I was just talking to Lucy in the break, and look, folks, we're so sorry. We have had so many entries for today's Meat Tray Friday, thanks to Dane and Harry at Blackwood Country Meats, and we're just not going to have time to get to all of them. So many people, their first concert experience, a lot of them on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line, but heaps of calls in the queue. So to everyone who has been trying to get on, we thank you. But unfortunately, we're just not going to be able to get to everyone, I'm afraid.
All right, time to go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed
1395, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Tony Pilkington.
Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome along to this, the afternoon thing that we do of an afternoon in the afternoon, after lunch or thereabouts as the case may be. An email from yesterday that we didn't get to from Julia on that email address of ours, the on air here at 5AA.com.au. And she says, Pilko, I've been trying to fill in this so-and-so census form. Oh, Julia, I can't use that word. I don't even know how to spell it. Oh, yeah, don't hold back. Josh tells me there's the website. You can go to census.abs.gov.au, all one word or thereabouts, and you'll find the answer there. The email there from Julia wanting to know about the consensus. Alrighty, petrol prices. Oh, gee whiz, I tell you what, the petrol prices are. We've heard that prices around about town are getting up to $1.74, 75, 76, and that's a big wouldn't it? If you've seen any petrol prices as you drive around and about that are a bit cheaper than $1.74, 75, 76, give us a call, give us a bell on that telephone number of ours, the 82230000 number of ours. Jeff has given us a call from somewhere or other, or there's about. G'day, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, g'day, Pilco. The petrol station opposite the Blair Athol pub. It's got petrol for $1.42.
Oh, $1.42. That's a lot better than $1.74, 75, 76 that we've been hearing. Yep, okay. Alrighty. Okay, thanks for that, Jeff. Mary on the line as well with a petrol price. Hello, Mary.
Oh, hello, Tony. Yes, the Caltex on O'Connell Street at North Adelaide has it for $1.40.
$1.40. Oh, that's a good price too. A lot better, it has it, I guess, than the one we've been hearing about. It up around $1.74, 75, 76.
Yes, you should grab it while you can.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Mary. Yep, thanks for that. If you've seen a price around about the place, then do give us a call and we'll pass it on so people don't get stung by those prices that are sitting, as we've heard about, around about $1.74, 56. Let's talk to Peter up there at Collingswood. Hi, Peter.
Oh, g'day, Pilco. I've just filled up with petrol on North East Road at Collingswood for $1.38.
Oh, gee, that's another good price, $1.38. That certainly beats the prices we've been seeing around about town at $1.74, 75, 76. So that's a fairly cheap up there at Collingswood.
No, it's Collins.
Alrighty.
It's 6 minutes to 9. We're giving away a meat tray right after this.
Leon Biner.
Professor Spurrier, good morning. Olympic officials are attacking this state for being the only one to force athletes into a 28-day quarantine period.
We are going to continue to have restrictions in place, unfortunately, whilst that New South Wales risk is so high.
9 till 12 weekdays.
This is not just, of course, for Olympic athletes. It's anybody that's quarantining in New South Wales.
SSA as Leon Biner. SSA as AA.
How do you know if the milk you're buying is local? Easy. Just look for 3 words. Flurio Milk Company. If the bottle you pick up has those 3 words on it, Flurio Milk Company, it's guaranteed to be local. It's guaranteed to be fresh too. And the big plus, you're supporting SA dairy farmers. And for that, we're forever grateful. 3 words. Flurio Milk Company. South Australian and proud of it.
Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA. Both are experts at what they do, so they've formed an alliance to help you. Whether you're buying or selling a business or somewhere in between, they'll work together, making sure the business you're going to sell or buy is in top shape. Ray White Business Sales SA and Business SA. Experts in business support and sales. Ready to help you achieve your goals. Call them today. 8300 0000.
Years of service to the RV community has earned Jayco Adelaide a reputation for quality, value for money, and ensuring customers get the most from their RV experience. RV owners appreciate their loyal and experienced sales and support team that is passionate about fantastic products and lifestyle that's on offer. Jayco Adelaide service includes helping you choose the right RV for your needs, being ready with expert advice and assistance, keeping your investment in top working order. Nearly half the new sales come from existing customers who are looking to trade up to a new Jayco model, which shows just how important your satisfaction is to them.
We'll mark out some places to go. There's no invitation, just a destination, and that's the best freedom I know. When we jump in the Jayco, jump in the Jayco.
Jayco Adelaide, here to help when you're ready to jump in a Jayco.
Whatever you fancy, you'll find it at FIVEaa. You'll find great deals right now. Here's Elise FIVEaa with her picks.
Pick up James Bogue Premium Lager 24 packs, $49.90. Cracking value, Absolute Vodka only $39.90. Warm up with Maker's Mark Bourbon, $47.90. Grab a Jim Barry Portervale Riesling, $15.90.
FIVEaa, your local independent SA family liquor stores. Conditions apply.
Hi, can I help you with anything?
Oh, thanks. Actually, that would be great.
Remember service? When you buy something and be really well looked after? Your Ford dealer does. Which is why when you buy a Ford, you also get a loan car when you book a scheduled service. And the service on most vehicles will only cost $299. Get more with Ford. Speak to a dealer today. T's and C's apply. See ford.com.au for details.
Say hello confidence in the new Tiguan, now available at Solitaire Volkswagen. Visit solitairevolkswagen.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
2.5 minutes to 9. Do yourself a favour if you get the opportunity at some point today. Have a look at the start of this baseball game that's taking place in the US today between the Yankees and the White Sox. It's been played in Iowa, near where they filmed the Kevin Costner film Field of Dreams, in which he carves out a baseball diamond out of in the middle of a cornfield, and they've done something similar for this game. Kevin Costner is there at the intro of the game. The players run out through corn stalks. It is just extraordinary. They've recreated the whole thing for an actual fixture. What are we, 32 years on from when the movie was released? It's very American, is what I'll say.
Hey, big congratulations to Lake Breeze Wines in Langhorne Creek. We've said a few times on air, Langhorne Creek, if you've never been to Langhorne Creek for a day driving around and seeing the beautiful wineries, you've got wineries like Bremerton and Bleasdale. Lake Breeze is one of my favourite wineries, though. I love it. I love Langhorne Creek. It's such a pretty and interesting part of the state with that, salty sea air coming in off the lake towards Strath. Now, Lake Breeze, it's been named the best value winery of the year in the James Halliday Wine Awards. James Halliday being the doyen of Australian wine scribes. They also, the Follett family, they're a great community family. They sponsor a lot of football, always have in Langhorne Creek. They've also got False Cape Wines on Kangaroo Island, which is a superb little winery. But if you've never bought Benuta, which is their Shiraz Cabernet blend, that is one of the most massively undervalued wines going around. So good on your Lake Breeze. And if you've never been to Langhorne Creek, because we can travel around, we can spend a bit of money in our state.
Absolutely.
Those of us who haven't had our budget smashed, go to Langhorne Creek.
Who wins the meat tray? Thanks to Dane and Harry at Blackwood Country Meats, 248 Main Road, Blackwood.
I think, not just because it's the landmark musical moment in SA's history, and one that our own radio station played a big part in, the telling of the tale by Kerry from Norwood about how she lost control of her faculties at the Beatles show.
Certainly did.
And the fact that she's got John, Paul and George as her sons. We love that story. So, Kerry, you're the winner of the meat tray. Thanks to Dane and Harry at Blackwood Country Meats.
Enjoy the barbie on the weekend. Have a great weekend, folks, and we'll catch you Monday morning from 6.
Online, on DAB Digital